Chapter 126. This exclamation made Dong Shilang, who was fighting, distracted for a moment. What? Didn't Sophons touch the tentacles? Why did she fall down? Although the reason was unknown, Yamamoto Genryusai also took off his captain's Haori at this time. The muscular body is revealed. As the cane in his hand began to burn, a slender but extremely sharp Zanpakuto appeared. On his face, which had gone through thousands of years of vicissitudes, a look of doubt appeared because of the incomprehensible mysterious tentacle. It seems that the only way to return to Soul Society is to fight quickly. Those tentacles are probably more terrifying than the traitor Aizen. Looking at Byakugan, who was still sitting on the throne in front of him, Yamamoto Genryusai took the lead in launching an attack. As the flames burned fiercely on his body, an unprecedentedly powerful spiritual pressure burst out, even causing the barrier that was originally used to restrict the captain's spiritual pressure to show signs of breaking. However, even when facing the strongest among the Shinigami, Captain Yamamoto Bailargan was as calm as ever at this time. Captain General, you have never thought about why Lord Aizen would trust the three of us to deal with you Shinigami. It can be said that transferring those two captains was the biggest mistake you have ever made in your life. I am Bailargan Luzenbon, the second of the three great Arankars, and the God King of Hueco Mundo. Let me destroy your arrogance and pride that belongs to the God of Death. Decay, White Emperor. As Bailargan uttered the words of liberation, his body was completely enveloped by a thick, dark mist. As the mist dissipated, Bailargan became a huge statue of bones wearing a tattered robe. Breath of Death. At the same time, the captain also saw a strong black aura emanating from Bailargan. Wherever it passed, everything was turned into scorched earth. Even the corpse of Yu Wing disappeared into the air the moment it touched this breath, leaving no trace behind. Is this the power of decay? There was a hint of surprise in the captain's eyes, but he still let himself be wrapped in flames and rushed towards Bailargan. It seems that you are worthy of your title of captain, as you can see that my ability is corrupt. Then you should also know that as long as you touch this power, you will be melted instantly like the beast summoned by the three subordinate officers. Come on, Captain, this is a corruption that even gods cannot resist. As the black aura emanated from Bailargan, the entire Karakura town barrier actually began to be corroded bit by bit. In just a few breaths, all the cities within 100 miles of Bailargan had become decayed and old. This scene even reminded the civilizations of the fear they once felt when they were dominated by the black energy. Is this a divine power similar to the color of the stars? A power that can bring about decay and decline. Cryogenic artists, they can freeze thousands of miles of land and corrupt hundreds of miles of land. These guys really have power beyond the gods. Zero Lord, no. At first glance this power is similar to colors of the stars, but colors of the stars directly makes things decay, instantly wiped out, and even the root of their existence is wiped out. And this so-called divine power is just to make things that can be aged decay instantly, just like making an apple tree grow from a seed in an instant and then wither in an instant. It is probably similar to the ability to fast forward time. In short, it is just a kind of divine power, and there is still a big gap between it and colors of the stars. One Urahara Kisuk. After hearing these explanations, many gods were still not convinced. No matter how you put it, this is a power that only gods possess, but why do you say it is inferior to technology? That's right, you sound nice, but I think that bearded muscular old man is about to be destroyed by that corrupt divine power. But Urahara Kisuk said calmly, I am just explaining the facts. After all, as the strongest scientist in Soul Society, at least I can analyze this corrupt divine power. But the colors of stars, including the touch of the universe that appeared in Karakura Town and Hueco Mundo, is too complex to be analyzed. However, when I saw that Urahara Kisuk actually had time to chat with the civilization of all heavens on the website, the top scientists in Soul Society who stayed behind in the Technology Development Bureau were all in a state of confusion. No way, Mr. Pu Yuan, how can you still be in the mood to look at that Wanja Wang? Captain Swafeng and Captain Kashimura are already dying. But at this moment, Urahara still had his usual heartless expression. Seeking flowers, Zero, I know what you said makes sense, and I know it's true, but right now I can't do anything except watch more information about the tentacles through video materials, and being anxious is of no use. Now I can only wait and see if Mayuri Kuroda can make some breakthroughs. He also saw that Yamamoto Genryusai and Bailargan were both getting serious. Haribal had also released his Zanpakuta, summoning raging waves, and the seawater swallowed up most of Karakura Town in one go. Looking from above, 2/3 of Karakura Town is now in dire straits. There was even 1/3 that was being affected by the battle between the Shinigami and the Arankars, not to mention the mysterious tentacles that were waiting in the sky for an opportunity to strike. Although he also knew that the movement of the tentacle might be related to the fluctuation of spiritual power. But since Dong Shilang started to attack, it hasn't moved since. Could it be that my guess was wrong? Mr. Urahara. Look at that tentacle, it looks like something is separating from it. Look in the direction of his finger. Urahara only then saw that the people fighting at the scene did not notice it. The huge tentacle above their heads was actually quietly moving from the outside of the Karakura Town barrier, trying to wrap around the entire barrier. And the tentacle began to merge with the spiritual power barrier when it touched it, just like a ball of ink immersed in water, soaking through the barrier and merging with it. This scene stunned everyone present. What is this tentacle going to do? Is it going to swallow up the captain and the others along with the entire Karakura Town barrier? Is this tentacle crazy? Isn't it just trying to draw all the hatred onto itself? Is this guy planning to challenge the 6 gods on his own? As the tentacles completely wrapped around Karakura Town, the entire barrier was pulled up from the ground. Yamamoto Genryusai, Byakugan, and others who were fighting had to stop. Even Kirako Shunsui and Stark, who had been testing each other and had not taken it seriously at all, became serious at this moment. Because the tentacles completely enveloped the entire Karakura Town barrier. Around them, the entire scene outside of Karakura Town disappeared. Instead, there was the endless chaos that had appeared when the black gas opened the black hole. Chapter 127. With the emergence of the chaos dimension. At this moment, all the civilizations in the heavens are holding their breath. Especially after seeing the strength of the gods of the Death Realm and the 3 Arankars. They are more curious. These gods can control the weather, call the wind and rain, and even destroy the human world with a flick of their fingers. Can you defeat the mysterious tentacles that shroud the barrier? This is undoubtedly another battle between gods and technology. There are also civilizations that don't understand what the tentacles are, but are still analyzing them calmly. From the powerful ability displayed by this tentacle, this should be a special technology. It seems to contain a part of the dimensional cracks and universe. Captain Kashiwamura and Yu Weng and others were absorbed and melted because they came into contact with other dimensions under the surface of the tentacle. 027, Returner. It's not impossible. From this perspective, the tentacle itself may even be some kind of superdimensional creature that is beyond our cognition. Rick, superdimensional creatures? What are those? When Ruikang was studying the outer gods, he discovered that these life forms were born from the explosion of the universe or along with the universe. In simple terms, they are gods born from the universe itself. These creatures can exist in any universe and are not even controlled by dimensions and parallel spaces. This type of life form is generally called superdimensional creatures. In other words, these life forms cannot be analyzed with common sense. If they can really control the outer gods and even use them for their own benefit, then the technological strength of such a technological civilization empire must be absolutely superior to our Ruikang. Hearing what Rick said, many civilizations looked at each other in confusion. After all civilizations in the world know this very well. The greatest invasion of a civilization or a planet is not to destroy it, but to bring it under one's control, or even rule it. The god of death is a god in itself, and even a superior god that is superior to gods and Buddhas in many dimensions. But now there is a mysterious civilization that can control foreign gods that are more powerful than them. That is, superdimensional creatures. This surprised many civilizations on the leaderboard. Rick means that the controller of this tentacle is a civilization that is above the gods and can even make the gods submit to them. This is something that even the civilizations on our list cannot do. Rick was non-committal. Yes, that's right. Although this is the first time I've seen such a horrific scene, it's the truth. Anyway, I don't know about Soul Society, but if it were our Ruikang, it would be doomed if it encountered such a transformed god, and the parallel universe would be destroyed together. These words shocked many civilizations. But Urahara Kisuk in the laboratory was unwilling to accept it. This is impossible. If there really is a civilization with power above the gods, how could it covet a weak civilization like us that has nothing to do with it? And even send such a monster to destroy our world? Rick sneered when he heard it. Let me ask you, if you accidentally stepped on an ant, would you feel any emotion or even repent? For a higher civilization, sometimes there is no reason to destroy a civilization weaker than their own. Even the gods who rule those civilizations are nothing more than ants in their eyes. As soon as these words were spoken, the king of hell in the underworld and Hades in the netherworld fell silent. They even doubted. Perhaps it was because of what I said unintentionally just now, saying that gods cannot be destroyed by self-destructive DNA and that gods are immortal. So a certain super-god civilization on the internet of all worlds wanted to personally demonstrate to me that their theory was a fallacy and that gods could also be slaughtered? Hearing this voice, the others looked at each other. He has always been calm for thousands of years, and even when the Soul Society went through several disasters, he was able to remain calm. But at this moment, facing the fear of the unknown, his fingertips were actually cold, and an inexplicable chill swept over him. Kirako Shunsui then pulled out his other secondary Zanpakuta from his waist. Once the king's key is destroyed, the Spirit King's palace may be permanently closed or even disappear. It seems that we must be serious about this. What's going on? Could it be that, as the captain is worried, even the Quincy's are ready to take action because of the appearance of this extra-dimensional outer god? All Shinigami, including Arankar, given the current situation, we may need to stop fighting for a while. Let's deal with the enemy above us that wants to destroy the barrier first. Otherwise, it may even swallow the 0.4 King key. In that case, Aizen's goal will not be achieved, right? Captain Yamamoto, who had always been evenly matched, suddenly shouted. Chase and kill, wolves. Think of this level. A voice suddenly came into his ears. Just as Urahara said this. We are the chaos and distortion that were born with the universe. Stark also had his hand on his Zanpakuta. New annotations also appeared in the live broadcast. He was determined to preserve Soul Society at all costs to prove that the so-called super-god civilization could not surpass the gods at all. When I saw these words. We are the flute players in the temple. No matter how powerful a superdimensional creature is, it cannot kill a god. The flower gods are crying in the wind, the sky wind is chaotic, the devil is sneering, the flower gods are crazy, and the dead pine is in their hearts. Urahara, who was watching the live broadcast, was surprised to find 0108022223 feel 0913424040. Is Soul Society really going to be destroyed this time? No, it's just the captain and his men who are trapped in the barrier, and the outcome is still undecided. The savior, Ichigo Kurosaki, is still in Hueco Mundo. At the same time, they are ready to support Soul Society for the sake of their dignity as agents of death. If this is the case, it will be bad news for both the Shinigami and the Arankar camps. Soul Society, the god of death, have always believed that they are the masters of this world, but now is the time for you to pay the price. But now, when they see the tentacles emerging from countless dimensional cracks, they are about to swallow them all. This muffled voice made Urahara shudder all over. But as Rick revealed the tip of the iceberg about the true identity of the tentacles. Since he can break into the Kiya Palace single-handedly, he can definitely bring hope to the entire Soul Society. Looking at the indescribable superdimensional creature that covered the entire Karakura town. At the same time, within the barrier of Karakura town, the captains and Arankar were engaged in a fierce battle. Although I don't want to admit it, what the captain said is true. Thinking of this, Hades and the 10 kings of hell in the underworld all fell into self-doubt. We play a sad elegy for countless universes as they go to destruction. Chapter 128. Bankai, Zankatachi. Zanjutsu Kori. Bankai, Daikun Hiren Meru, Ice Sky 100 Flowers Burial. As the abilities of the three captains are fully unlocked. The power suppression barrier above Karakura town was also completely shattered. The spiritual pressure comparable to a stellar explosion spread out from Karakura town to the entire human world. Behind Dongshilang, there are thousands of miles of ice and snow all over the sky. The town of Karakura beneath Captain General Yamamoto's feet had turned into a sea of a fire. The 6 Shinigami and the 3 Arrancar leaders seemed to divide the world into 6 parts. Each of their spiritual powers was fully displayed. The whole world turned into a hell on earth at this moment. Such a horrifying scene shocked all the civilizations in the heavens. Is this the true power of the god of death? It turns out that their power has not been fully displayed before, otherwise any one of them would be enough to destroy the world. This is normal. You have to know that Bankai is equivalent to releasing 500% of the power of the god of death, and the Bankai of Captain Yamamoto and the other 3 can be further evolved, and even their original strength can be exerted to 500 times the original. However, although Urahara said this, he felt uneasy in his heart. Because he had witnessed the captain's original powerful strength with his own eyes. His Bankai can even differentiate into 4 different forms, and even a unique ultimate form. But looking around, the extra-dimensional creature wrapped in the barrier has no entity, and even if we want to destroy it, we don't know where to focus our fire. What's worse is that Urahara even suspected that the monster covering Karakura town was just a part of the body of this superdimensional life form. Can such a monster that cannot be understood by common sense really be defeated so easily? At the same time, the superdimensional creature wrapped in the barrier also shrank its body little by little, constantly compressing the range. The town of Karakura, which originally covered hundreds of thousands of hectares, was crushed at a speed visible to the naked eye, as if a grape was in someone's hand. Even Dongshilang and the others felt that their breathing was becoming difficult at this time. Captain Yamamoto also shouted to Taoshiro and others at this time. Everyone, I can feel that the weakness of this unknown monster is in that dimensional gap, but it only has one chance to kill us. Even if it costs my life, I will save the human world and soul society. The eternal glory of our generation of the god of death cannot be destroyed by a monster that has no physical body. Sword of fire. Fire, 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 10 trillion deaths, great funeral array as Captain Yamamoto leaped into the air. In the blazing flames behind him, countless dead bodies of Shinigami holding Zanpakuto emerged. They seemed to have all submitted to the Captain General, allowing him to trample on their corpses, as if they wanted to lend all their strength to the Captain General. At this time, the captain also took one step at a time, stepping on the dry bones and the blazing flames, and walked towards the dimensional crack with his Zanpakuto in his hand unwaveringly. A huge ice dragon appeared behind Taoshiro, followed closely by Kirako Shunsui. The thick black shadow under his feet seemed to condense all the shadows of the entire world into one powerful attack. At the same time, the 3 Arrancar giants also launched an attack at the same point. But just when these 6 different divine powers arrived near the dimensional rift with unprecedented murderous intent, everyone suddenly felt as if their spiritual power was being violently pulled by something. Afterwards, they stopped in front of the dimensional gap, motionless and silent as dead water. The momentum they had just shown disappeared in an instant. This scene shocked all the civilizations in the heavens. Why are those Shinigami and Arrancars so motionless? Can someone tell me what happened? Just when the civilizations in the heavens were puzzled, more tentacles actually stretched out from the dimensional crack. They seemed to come from another cosmic dimension, traveling through chaos and parallel universes, reaching Soul Society, and quickly entangling Captain Yamamoto and his men. As the tentacles manipulated them, Captain Yamamoto and his men's bodies began to twist at extremely strange angles, as if they were puppets controlled by someone. When I saw that their pupils were dark and lifeless, it seemed as if they were controlled by something. All civilizations in the world hold their breath at this moment. For many civilizations, even their breathing stopped when watching the images, which even caused the live broadcast screen to have unprecedented short blank moments. Only Urahara in the Technology Development Bureau heard a strange drum beat mixed with some harsh and noisy sounds that he had never heard before. It seemed like a call from God and an ode to death. At first glance, it sounds chaotic. But if you listen for a while, you will be bewitched by the powerful magic. Behind it, there is actually a supreme majesty and irresistible strong attraction. This terrifying melody made Urahara's movements of firing barrages become extremely slow. And he was just watching the situation on the screen, and he was almost oppressed by the powerful mysterious pressure and unable to move. Can't you hear this weird sound? But the other viewers from all over the world who were watching the live broadcast only saw it happen silently. 6 Shinigami and Arrancar, including Captain General Yamamoto, were swallowed up by the dimensional rift in an instant. Even before being swallowed, it turned into countless dust particles in the universe. At the same time, the dimensional crack suddenly expanded. The cosmic scene that was originally only near the dimensional rift also spread out, and finally, within a few breaths, it instantly swallowed up the entire human world. The civilizations in the heavens only saw that the huge dimensional rift continued to expand, and finally the entire image on the screen became part of the universe. The scientists in 460's Technology Development Bureau could hardly believe their eyes after the strange magic sound finally stopped. Master Urahara. The entire human world has disappeared from the detector. The entire human world has been swallowed up. How is this possible? How did that monster do it? But at this moment, Ji whispered softly, is this the power of a superdimensional god? At the same time, think about the annotations on the screen that you just saw. Urahara's face turned pale. Is this the power of a superdimensional creature that surpasses gods? What exactly is the song of Eric's-Zan? What is the flute player? If it is impossible to even approach the dimensional rift, and even cannot see the full picture of the superdimensional creature, how can we find its weakness and defeat it? Countless questions remain unanswered, but Urahara already feels exhausted. This was also the first time that he, as the former director of the Technology Development Bureau and a top-level scientist in death, felt so powerless. He could only give orders at this time. Use Tenjo Sora immediately to contact Ichigo Kurosaki and the other captains. Do not send out the Captain General's obituary. Also, contact Squad 0 immediately and head to Hueco Mundo. Urahara knew that the death of the Captain General would inevitably bring panic to the entire Soul Society. After all, he is the most powerful god of death besides the Soul King. Chapter 129. However, Urahara's words also shocked the Technology Development Bureau. Mr. Urahara, what did you say? You want to summon Squad Zero? Isn't this a bit too much when the situation hasn't spread to Seoul society yet? When it really affects us, it will be too late. Seeing his stern expression, other subordinates from the Technology Development Bureau hurriedly prepared to activate the 10PI skyrocket to contact Ichigo Kurosaki and others. Urahara didn't know that in the entire universe, besides him, there were others who heard the sound of Eric's song. They were none other than the people in the Galactic Empire. Even Morgana was frozen in silence for a moment after hearing that voice. He even forgot to argue with the gods. However, because she had not personally experienced this terrifying power, she felt that the sound was not scary at all. Instead, it was like an invisible performer who had come from the eternity to tell himself about the vastness of the universe and the legends related to the outer gods. It was also because of hearing this devilish sound that she became more certain. Those superdimensional outer gods possessed the absolute ability to attack by dimensionality reduction. But they were also conquered by the Emperor and were willing to bow down at his feet. They treated the Emperor of the Galactic Empire as if he were the ancestor of the entire universe. Because Morgana also heard a strong sense of piety and worship in the music. At this moment, Chong Nanwo, who was standing by, was also horrified. I used to think that people who said they could understand the spirit of music and fully understand the meaning of the composer were lying. But now after listening to this magic sound, I realized that it was true. Although I cannot understand what technology is and what superdimensional creatures are. But the fairy Chang'e believed that this live broadcast was just a picture of a few incense sticks, which was far beyond her understanding of the journey to the West civilization over thousands of years. The mysterious music that could not be created even from the perspective of gods was enough to prove the horror of that extra-dimensional creature, which was even greater than that of the gods. It was also at this time that new comments appeared on the screen. The thousand-faced demon god, playing in front of the palace, can devour space and time at will. This devilish music can cause the gods to self-destruct, and is composed with the darkest and deepest terrifying evil spirit. When you see these comments, the myriad worlds still find this explanation somewhat obscure and difficult to understand. Does this mean that there really was some divine music playing in Karakura town just now? Was it that music that killed Captain Yamamoto and the others? But aren't they gods? How could gods be affected by sound waves? Lord of Zero, in my opinion, it should be the technological civilization that manipulated the superdimensional creatures to compose a chapter of death and played it in the form of sound waves. This sound wave can even shake the stable structure of the divine power of the gods. This kind of terrifying technology is even inferior to our Singer civilization. Singer civilization. I originally thought that the outer gods all feed on living things in various universes. It seems that what I know is just the tip of the iceberg of the outer gods. The Soul Society and Hueco Mundo in that world are also in danger. Rick, but after seeing Rick's words, many gods were still arguing. How can you, a scientist from the technology field, possibly understand the realm of God? Gods are much more powerful than you think. They will never perish so easily. Just now, that Urahara guy used Tenko Kuro to report that Captain Yamamoto, Captain Hitsuya of the 10th Division, and Captain Kirako of the 8th Division were all wiped out along with the present world by the mysterious force that emerged from the dimensional rift that you are seeing now. But only Ichigo Kurosaki still looked heartless. Ichigo Kurosaki also asked curiously at this time. Euro, no matter what that power is, we must save Anu and deal with Aizen. This is the original intention of our coming to Hueco Mundo, and it is also what we must do. So everyone, keep moving forward. The whole ground suddenly shook. See the four of them appear at the same time. This explanation made everyone present subconsciously feel an inexplicable uneasiness. Captain Mayuri Kuroshio, the only one who remained calm and rational, said to Ichigo Kurosaki. The powerful divine power released from the tentacles far exceeded that of all the captain-level Shinigami and even Arankar they had encountered before. Even the vice-captain of the 6th Division of the Shinigami Squad, Renji, and the vice-captain of the 13th Division, Rukia Kukiki, did not know what the tentacles in the dimensional rift above the Hueco Mundo were. Ichigo Kurosaki and his crew after defeating the previous Espada. I saw the shocked looks on several people's faces. Didn't Captain Yamamoto say earlier that he wouldn't help with the rescue of Anu? But at this moment, they were all sitting on a strange creature with a baby's head, butterfly wings behind it, and a caterpillar-like body. These words shocked several people at the scene. The shocking scenes made them feel uneasy. As soon as they arrived near Sui Palace, they saw the huge tentacles covering the entire Sui Palace. That's right. No matter how bad things get, Hades and I will rush to that universe together to defend the power of our gods. You technological gods, don't be too happy too soon. Oh, luckily I made it in time. The four captains all looked solemn. Deputy Deathboy, it is indeed not easy for you to get here. But I also have bad news to tell you. But, just when they were pumping big here, Ichigo Kurosaki turned around and saw that the people behind him were none other than the four captain-level Shinigami led by Mayuri Kuratsuki. So he rushed to the vicinity of Sui Palace. On the other side, in the Hueco Mundo. Rukia, what is that thing in the air? Why does it make me feel so suffocated? Captain of the 11th Division, Kenpei Kazaraki, Captain of the 6th Division, Byakuya Kukiki, Captain of the 4th Division, Anohana, and the Director of the Technology Development Department, one of the three great scientists in the Death God world, Nitsuria. Why are all four captains here? I'm really sorry. Although I also want to know what that is, so far, nothing like it has appeared in the entire Soul Society. It may not even be a hollow, and I feel that it is some kind of terrifying power that is even more powerful than a hollow. Ichigo Kurosaki widened his eyes. What did you say? The entire world was wiped out. Seeing that Hades, the god of the underworld, and the 10 kings of hell could no longer sit still. Rukia sighed after hearing this. At the same time, a slightly noisy and annoying voice was heard. Just as they were about to enter Sui Palace to rescue Anu. Morgana's eyes lit up. If you say so, then there will be something interesting to watch next. I will watch with my own eyes the moment when you arrogant gods are destroyed by the technology of the mysterious empire. Renji and Rukia were both shocked. Chapter 130. Kuroshio Mayuri's words shocked everyone present. Lucia was trembling all over, thinking that Nelly was telling a black joke. Captain Neely, what did you say? Are you sure you're not kidding? Speaking of excitement, Rookie looked to Byakuya Kukaki for answers. Brother, please tell me this isn't true. The captain and Captain Kiraku are so strong, how could they die? A hint of hesitation now appeared on Kukaki Byakuya's usually calm face. Although I don't want to admit it, the captain and his men have indeed died in the line of duty. You should have felt it just now, their spiritual pressure has disappeared. However, when he said this, the civilizations in the heavens who were watching the website were somewhat puzzled. That's weird. Aren't gods immortal? So how do we determine whether they are dead or not? Yes, maybe their souls can be resurrected somewhere, but the current gods of death don't know anything about it. But at this moment, Urahara Kisuke, who was watching the scene, gave a cruel explanation. No, they are indeed gone, because the bodies of the death gods are made of spiritual energy, and the original souls are the skeletons. Once the spiritual energy that makes up the body is completely dissipated, that is, the smallest unit of measurement, the spirit particles, no longer exist, then the death god will really disappear. When a person dies, their soul can still reincarnate into soul society and become a god of death, or live in Rukanga. But once the soul particles of the god of death are completely devoured or absorbed, they will disappear without a trace left. This news made the civilizations in the heavens more aware. Perhaps the gods are not as powerful as they think. However, many civilizations in the heavens previously believed that gods were unattainable and were in a supreme realm that they could not reach. But as they watched this inventory, they gradually realized. The realm of God is not completely untouchable. However, most of the civilizations that exist in the myriad worlds do not have the ability to step into the realm of God and analyze it. That is why most civilizations have a strong fear of them, and even regard gods as completely invincible. It was as if he was a god who was above the 3,000 worlds, with his might swallowing up mountains and rivers and holding the sun and the moon in his hands. He had become the pinnacle of the universe that no civilization could surpass. But in fact, in the face of true superdivine technology and superdimensional life forms, those gods are vulnerable. Urahara's words contained a huge amount of information, which shocked Kurosaki Ichigo. Kfa, they can also be analyzed and even easily destroyed through technological means. Otherwise, not only will Hueco Mundo cease to exist, but the balance between Soul Society and Hueco Mundo will also be broken. Once the Soul King Palace is occupied by superdimensional creatures, Soul Society will also be destroyed. By then, all the Shinigami and Hollows will have nowhere to stay. Quincy Ishida Uriu also pushed his glasses and said, "Let's go, Ichigo. No matter who the opponent is, we are already here. We can only move forward. If Hueco Mundo is destroyed, the spirits of the Hollows in Hueco Mundo will have nowhere to stay and all of them will pour into Soul Society. Then, it is estimated that the voice that just came to Urahara's ears will also be ready to move." Kuratsuka Mayuri also smiled at this time. "It seems that you are willing to analyze the superdimensional creature with me and dissect it. I should be able to successfully obtain a living sample this time." At this time, even Morgana said with some pride. "But Mr. Puyuan, since you said that the mysterious tentacles are superdimensional creatures, haven't they invaded Soul Society yet?" Arrived at the entrance of Sui Palace. Next, this terrifying superdimensional creature will use its own strength to prove that as long as technology reaches a certain level and reaches perfection, it can also trample the gods underfoot. After hearing this, Chadu also said with a firm face, "Don't worry, Yuhu, we will be with you." After a while, with Kuratsuka Mayuri's Zanpakuta. Bankai Golden hit killing Jizo. This is a blessing in disguise. Not yet. But even if they break through the dimensional wall and rush into Soul Society, we have Squad 0, Shifen Jiyuan from the 4 major families and others guarding, and millions of Shinigami soldiers are already on high alert. You just need to make a desperate bet in Hueco Mundo and destroy the superdimensional creatures on the Hueco Palace first. However, Ichigo Kurosaki saw that the 3 captains including Aizen were standing there waiting for him. Hearing this, Yuhu was shocked. "Mr. Puyuan, what do you mean by this? Hasn't the present world been twisted and swallowed by that mysterious creature?" "Kurosaki Ichigo, you can't despair yet, because as long as the Soul King Palace is still there and Soul Society is still there, the present world may reappear." Is this Mr. Puyuan's voice? At the same time, in the picture. Destroy that extra-dimensional creature? I understand. Leave it to me. But at the same time, Ichigo Kurosaki couldn't help but worry. For a moment, everyone was full of fighting spirit. Although Byakuya Kukaki and Kenpei Kazaraki didn't say anything, their faces were full of murderous intent and determination to fight to the death with the superdimensional creature. After all, he is even more terrifying than Aizen and has been coveting Soul Society for a long time. The 77th way of binding, Tianting Kongluo. He also looked around. 4 captains, and all my friends, please lend me a helping hand. We must fight together and destroy that damn superdimensional creature in order to defend the entire Soul Society. Just when Ichigo Kurosaki was almost in despair. Ichigo Kurosaki and the others were at a loss. So I have already told you that all gods can be defeated, but you do not know how to defeat them, and you have not researched technology to its full potential, so you are timid and even afraid of gods. Indeed, but because the real world is also made up of spirit particles, coupled with the powerful spiritual power of the Soul King and a new Orium's special ability to reverse time and space, the real world may be recreated after being destroyed. As for your friends, I transferred them to Soul Society when the superdimensional creatures invaded the real world. However, you must defeat it before the superdimensional creatures in Hueco Mundo destroy Hueco Mundo, enter Soul Society from the black tunnel of Hueco Mundo, and occupy the Soul King's palace. A familiar voice was heard. As Kurosaki Ichigo took a deep breath. Captain Anohana also smiled and said, "Leave the task of healing you all to me. This is the power and dominance of super god level technology. Easily crushed. So, even if we save Anu, we can't return to the real world? Because the entire real world, including my familiar friends and family, has been destroyed by that mysterious creature." He also didn't know that superdimensional creatures, and even Aizen and his 10 Espada, were just some of the major forces that could threaten Soul Society. Chapter 131. When he saw Aizen Sosuke, the captain of the 3rd squad, Ichimaru Jin, the captain of the 7th Squad, Trisolaran Civilization, and the remaining 7 espadas standing at the entrance of Karakura Palace. Ichigo Kurosaki's expression paused slightly. Then he jumped off the golden horse and killed Kasadagarba, shouting at him harshly. Aizen, are you still going to be our enemy at this point? Of course, even if all of my 10 blades died, we would still be determined to occupy the Soul King Palace and carry out the research on Collapsed Jade to the extreme. We don't even take the so-called superdimensional creatures seriously. Seeing him say the most cold-blooded and ruthless words with the most indifferent and calm expression. His expression clearly showed that he was calm and confident. Ichigo Kurosaki gritted his teeth and said, Aizen, you are kidding. Don't you know that the world has been destroyed by that monster? If we can't make a desperate effort to fight against that superdimensional creature together, we will be devoured by that monster along with Hueco Mundo and Soul Society. As he spoke, Ichigo Kurosaki looked up. The originally chaotic sky of the entire Hueco Mundo suddenly became as clear and deep as the sea. But in it, something like a nebula in a distorted dimension was surging. There is no doubt that it is a superdimensional creature, and it is devouring Hueco Mundo bit by bit. If they were alone, they could see the entire Hueco Mundo just like all the heavens and worlds. They will find that the countless irregular tentacles are wrapping around the entire Hueco Mundo like vines. And devour it bit by bit. At this moment, a strange, ethereal and solemn voice came from above Kurosaki, Ichigo and the others. The source of the sound was right above the entire Soul Palace. At this moment, the civilizations in the heavens who were watching the live broadcast truly heard the sacred magic sound that could only be heard by the civilizations on the scene. The music seemed to come from an unknown galaxy, composed by chaotic energy beyond the gods, causing many weak civilizations to forget about posting comments and even forget about time and space. Is this the sound that made Captain Yamamoto and his men unable to move? This sound is so terrifying, sometimes fast and sometimes slow, sometimes like a continuous stream, sometimes like a thick black fog. Ultra cryogenic artist, is this the legendary overture composed by the gods, the elegy from the superdimensional creatures? This kind of horrific music is really chilling. Even if I cover my ears, I can still hear that terrible music. The Lord of the 10 Zeros, can this really be called music? Rather than beautiful music, it's more like a terrible sound that can drive people crazy at any time. I suddenly feel so lucky that I'm not there. Tony Stark, however, at this moment, all civilizations saw the source of the sound at the top of Soul Palace. Suddenly, a mass of thick black ink began to flow out from the dimensional crack. From the initial liquid state, it gradually turns into a solid state. In the end, he turned into a puppet performer holding a baton. Each of its joints is wrapped with silk threads that reflect a deep and mysterious luster like stars. On the surface of its body, a mysterious liquid metal shell appeared that could not be deciphered. On that face, whose facial features could not be seen clearly, there was only a pair of dark green eyes that were like black holes, sucking in all the living things it saw. However, even though the performer was only about the height of a person, the powerful pressure he exuded was enough to make everyone present feel inexplicably frightened. Is that the true form of the extra-dimensional creature? Kurosaki, Ichigo said, swallowing his saliva. Even Urahara, who had seen the annotations in the live broadcast before, had to believe that it might be the true body of this superdimensional creature. This also gave the death gods present a glimmer of hope. Out of curiosity, Aizen gave the order at this time. All the remaining Espada, except Ulquiorra and Grimjo, go forward with Captain Trisolaran Civilization and Captain Ichimaru Jin to check the situation. This extra-dimensional creature is extremely dangerous, so you must be careful with it. We must destroy it so that we, the Kyomiyomi, can invade Soul Society. Yes. The 7 people, except Aizen, flew into the air together using flash step. Teleport in front of the puppeteer. The big guy number 10 among the broken faces also said with some disdain at this time. I really don't understand why Lord Aizen could reach an absolute state for something like this. Look at me as I enter the second stage of the returned blade and take his life. But after hearing this, the number 8 Arankar scientist, Del Apollo, reminded him, hey, don't underestimate the enemy. Have you forgotten that Bylergan and the others were swallowed by the superdimensional creature? It's better to be careful. At the same time, Arankar number 7 also said, Apollo is right, but no matter how powerful this thing is, we don't need to be afraid. After all, we have been given our own secret weapon by Lord Aizen. Then he took out a palm-sized silver gem. The Arankar present also took out similar things. When you see the gem reflecting the silvery white light like the bright moon. Mayuri Kurotsuki was stunned. Aizen, what did you give to those Arankars? Are you crazy? What's so special about this? It's just a one-time replica of the broken jade. It just so happens that these broken jade replicas are still in the testing phase, so they can be used to test these Arankars. Aizen said it casually, but Kurotsuki Mayuri knew it. The Hogyaku is the most powerful technology developed by Urahara Kisuke, which can even fully activate the spiritual power of Arankar and Shinigami. The average Shinigami may only be able to develop 1% of his own spiritual power. Vice Captain and Captain level death gods only have 20% at most. And this broken jade is a terrifying technological device that allows them to activate 100% of their own spiritual power. If I have to make an analogy, this is roughly equivalent to allowing the Arankar to possess the combined power of the gods and Buddhas in the previous journey to the West World when they opened the barrier. When Urahara gave his explanation, the civilizations of the heavens were also extremely shocked. I never thought that these gods of death would use technology to enhance their powers. If that's the case, then the power of those Arankars has now reached several times or even dozens of times the original more than that. Can that puppeteer really contend with such divine power? However, this is really ironic. If the higher dimensions and even more powerful gods you mentioned want to progress and become more powerful beings, they also have to rely on technology. Isn't this enough to show that technology is the only way for the heavens and the worlds to move towards higher dimensions? Morgana's words caused dissatisfaction among the gods. Don't be so proud. Those Arankar are not gods. Besides, the power of the broken jade might be some kind of technology transformed from divine power. That's right. With this fully released spiritual power, the Arankar will definitely be able to defeat the Puppet Master 5. Chapter 132. Just as the gods were having a heated argument with Morgana and others, Yami and others have already taken action. Pray, holy weeping mantis. Calm down, mantra-eyed Sunga. Get angry, angry beast. Along with the 5 Aaron cars, they returned to their roots. The replica of the broken jade also radiated an unusual brilliance at this time. Under the light that seemed to distort space, all the Aaron cars had entered the second stage of returning to the blade. The original number 10 on Yami's shoulder also became 0 because of this powerful force. Their size also expanded dramatically at this time, from being only a little over 1 person tall. They actually became as tall as Sui Palace. However, when he saw this scene, Dong Xianyao asked with some concern, Yin, don't we need to take action? No need for that. After all, the 973 Hogyaku replica developed by Master Aizen is enough to deal with a Shinigami of Captain General Yamamoto's level. For a moment, all the heavens and the world were stunned by this shocking scene. Because those 10 blades were originally only the size of sesame seeds in the picture, and were like ants in front of the hyperdimensional tentacles that covered the entire Qianaya Palace. But now, their size suddenly increased, becoming taller than the full outer god cub seen before. This amazing sight brought an ecstatic look to Nellie's face. Is this the power of the broken jade? And it's just a replica? It's incredible. However, Aizen said with some regret at this time. Sure enough, these Aaron cars are still unable to fully unleash the power of the Hogyaku. Even as replicas, they can only make their size explode. Although their spiritual power has increased dramatically, it has not yet reached the point of qualitative change. Their current spiritual pressure is only slightly higher than that of Captain General Yamamoto after his Bankai. These words made Ichigo Kurosaki stunned. Is this just the stage where the power of collapsed jade has not been fully exerted? It is easy to imagine that if the replica of the broken jade has not been fully developed, all of these can allow the lower-ranked Espada to have power comparable to that of Captain General Yamamoto. What if Aizen could completely analyze the Hogyaku? Wouldn't he be able to create a terrifying killing machine that could easily destroy Soul Society and the living world? But at the moment, Ichigo Kurosaki is more worried about the puppeteer. He also knew that since it was a superdimensional creature, it would definitely not be easily destroyed. This made Ichigo Kurosaki, who had always been fearless, a little nervous. It's just that all the heavens and worlds are waiting with Aizen and others. The puppeteer's originally motionless body actually began to move like a puppet when they activated the broken jade replica and approached. However, when he saw its tilted head looking forward, Urahara also felt an unprecedented invisible pressure. Sure enough, the next second, a violin made of nebula appeared in its palm, and the puppet player played a more passionate tune. Yami and the others' movements came to a standstill again. Only this time, they still retained their consciousness. Strange, why can't I move? Damn it, what on earth are you doing? If you have the guts, let us go. Don't think you can restrict our actions with this trick. When they saw Yami, they were unable to move. Ichimaru-jin then released his Zanpakuta. Shoot it, kill it. As the spiritual pressure on Jin Ichimaru surged, the war spirit sword in his hand also quickly extended. It was as if it had turned into a silver blade, piercing through the chaos, breaking through the void, and pointing directly at the puppeteer's brow. But just when Jin Ichimaru thought that his Zanpakuta could split the puppeteer in half, he suddenly discovered that the moment his Zanpakuta touched the performer, he actually produced an inexplicable strange feeling. It was this strange touch that caused Ichimaru-jin's expression to freeze for a moment. What's going on with this feeling? The next second, before Ichimaru-jin could react, he was actually being rapidly absorbed into the body of the puppeteer along with his own war spirit sword. And the most terrifying thing is that this powerful suction is impossible to resist. Even a god like him couldn't resist it completely. At the same time, the performer's body suddenly began to swell at this moment. As the crack in its abdomen expanded little by little, it finally turned into a bloody mouth, swallowing all the 10 Espada and Ichimaru-jin present. Seeing this scene, Tison immediately activated his Bankai, trying to stop the bloody mouth from swallowing him. But even if he transformed into a hell locust, he still couldn't stop himself from being devoured. Or rather, his attacks were ineffective and had no effect on the puppeteer. In just a few breaths, they were completely devoured by the puppeteer. As the giant mouth closed, all the heavens and worlds were deeply shocked. Because no one could figure out whether the abyss-like mouth was a dimensional crack or something else. Moreover, it even endured the attacks of Ichimaru-jin and Tison Kaname, and devoured these gods in an instant, without any damage. What happened just now? All those Aaron cars were eaten by the abyss. Optimus Prime, this is impossible. Don't they have more power than ordinary gods? Why did they lose so easily? Lelich, this may be the terrifying part of the superdimensional creature. Perhaps, when it devoured the entire world before, it did not even show its full strength. Rick, as all civilizations were shocked. The ground around Sui Palace also shook as a result. When they saw countless star tentacles extending from the ground, about to envelop the entire Sui Palace, Aizen suddenly realized, I was wondering why I had a strange feeling since returning to Hueco Sakura. Moreover, the real world has been swallowed up, but the Hueco Sakura seems to be intact. Seeing that he was hesitant to speak, Ichigo Kurosaki asked curiously. Aizen, what is going on? 2.0 Kuratsuka Mayuri said nonchalantly, picking his ears. Isn't it obvious? All of us, including this Hueco Mundo, are in the stomach of that extra-dimensional creature. And the puppeteer is just a manifestation of a part of its body. As for what it is, I can't explain it either. Seeing him so calm, Kurosaki Ichigo felt like he was about to explode. Because this means that they can't even leave Hueco Mundo, let alone return to Soul Society. And just when he was about to despair. However, Urahara brought even more despairing news through Tentei Sora. Ichigo, you must find a way to leave Hueco Mundo as soon as possible. Those superdimensional creatures have begun to intervene in Soul Society. Even the Soul King Palace that was originally hidden has now automatically appeared. Chapter 133. At the same time Urahara let out a cry of surprise. Aizen has also taken out the Hogyaku. The light was blindingly bright, and the spiritual power contained within it exceeded the combined power of the 12 Death God Captains. Is this the broken jade? That's right, Ichigo, how about a bet? I'll lend you the power of the Hogyaku, and you destroy it and help us leave Hueco Mundo. When Aizen said this, his expression was indifferent and his eyes were calm, as if he was talking about a common thing. Although Ichigo Kurosaki knew that Aizen was his enemy, now he had to face the enemy above his head, and the Soul Society was also in danger. Therefore, he had no choice but to take a deep breath and hold his breath to concentrate. I understand, come on. Bankai Azuha releases all his divine power. The broken jade also flew into his chest at this time. The original silver-white color turned into pitch black. Ichigo Kurosaki also entered the Arankar form at this time. When I saw that there was a skull mask that only Arankar's had on his face. A black evil light radiated from it. Many civilizations in the heavens exclaimed in surprise. Isn't that Ichigo a Shinigami? Why does he have the power of an Arankar? Urahara patiently explained, so, Ichigo is the hope of this world, a special existence. He possesses the combined power of an Arankar and a Shinigami, and now, combined with the Hogyaku, it is no exaggeration to say that he is the strongest in the world. Really? But I think this guy is still far behind me. When he heard this old and majestic voice, Urahara was shocked. This is, Yhwach? Did he really take action? At the same time, in Soul Society's Death Temple, the Siratii. A cross-shaped white light appeared, and then a huge floating royal city appeared. In the pure white, there is actually a hint of the blue of the sky. When you see 26 members of the Star Cross wearing white robes appear. Urahara, who stayed in the Technology Development Department, suddenly panicked. Why invade Soul Society at this time? This is tantamount to looting. Urahara knew that these Stern Cross members were a greater threat than the Arankar and Aizen. Because the essence of the Quincy's is a violation of the laws of the God of Death, their ability is the same as that of the superdimensional creatures, which can obliterate spirit particles. And now that the balance between Soul Society and Hueco Mundo is gone, this is exactly what they want to see. Just as Urahara was daydreaming. A voice came from the throne in the palace. We gods will surely rule Soul Society. You weak beings, why don't you quickly submit? The next second, Waiwaka's figure appeared above the entire Soul Society. His slightly old face was full of pride at this moment. Everyone in the Technology Development Bureau couldn't help but ask curiously. Mr. Pu Yuan, could that be Waiwak? Yes, it's the leader of all Quincy, Waiwak, who is known as the Omniscient Master. He has always wanted to occupy Soul Society and was once severely injured by the Soul King and Master Yamamoto. At that time, his divine power was not yet mature enough, but now, I am afraid he has really evolved into an omniscient being. This news made everyone present realize that in today's Soul Society, there are wolves in front and tigers behind. Regardless of whether it is a superdimensional creature or Waiwak, they both have the ability to destroy the entire Soul Society. At the same time, in Hueco Mundo, news of the appearance of Waiwak was heard. Ichigo Kurosaki also made a desperate attempt. He closed his eyes, summoned all the power of the God of Death in his body, and spoke to his Zanpakuta. Tensa Zangetsu. Uncle Zangetsu, I know I'm not strong enough now, but I need more strength. I beg you to release all your spiritual power so that I can destroy the nothingness from another dimension. Are you sure? If you really do this, you might lose all your power as the God of Death. A hesitant voice came from within Ichigo's body. He also said firmly. That's right, Uncle Zangetsu, come on. Good. The next second, the sky and the earth changed color, and even the Soul Society became pitch black, as if it had disappeared into nothingness. A powerful spiritual pressure came from Ichigo Kurosaki. It even alarmed Oriaminu, who was being guarded by Ulquiorra and Grimsho, the only two surviving Espada. Is this Ichigo's spiritual pressure? But why is it so turbid, restless, and full of murderous intent? Is this Ichigo's true power? But just when she was worried about Kurosaki Ichigo. Ulquiorra and Grimsho have also received orders from Aizen. He used the second stage of returning to the sword and rushed towards the direction of the puppet player. Even Aizen felt the presence of Waiwak at this moment. The man who could disrupt his original plan to conquer Soul Society. Break it, the mirror flower and the water moon. As blue beams radiated from Aizen's eyes, he was also affected by the Hogyaku transformation and took on a new form. When he saw that he was like a god king, wrapped in blue spiritual pressure, rushing towards the puppeteer together with Kurosaki Ichigo. All civilizations in the heavens were shocked. Can death really win this time? Tony Stark maybe. They are the gods of this world and the strongest fighting force in Soul Society. Spider-Man Parker, it's useless. Any struggle is in vain. Morgana at this moment, all the heavens and the world hold their breath. But at the moment when Ichigo Kurosaki, Aizen, and others rushed towards the puppet player, countless strange-looking creatures with tentacles and heads emerged from the huge void rift. Their bodies are covered with 380 mouths, and their bodies are almost transparent, just like a cosmic nebula viewed from a distance. In an instant, they completely enveloped Ichigo Kurosaki, Aizen, and others. Puff. But from the chaos, there came a sound so small that it could not even be heard if one did not listen carefully. The spiritual pressure of Ichigo Kurosaki and others disappeared instantly. At this time, those tiny translucent creatures also merged into one, falling from the air like raindrops, and began to devour the entire Hueco Mundo at a speed visible to the naked eye. Ichigo Kurosaki, is he dead? This is impossible. He was killed in just a split second. What's so strange about this? This is super technology from the Galactic Empire, and the superdimensional creature is just the tip of the iceberg of the mysterious empire's technology. In fact, it's just a test product. On the other side, the situation is similar in Soul Society. Countless Shinigami and souls from Rokanga began to flee in all directions. Only the gods in the heavens and myriad worlds saw that the entire Soul Society and Hueco Mundo were enveloped by a terrifying nebula in the universe, the entirety of which could not be seen. Almost at the same time, Waiwak and the Soul King took action at the same time, trying to prevent the superdimensional creatures from completely occupying Soul Society. It seems that these death gods are really useless. This Soul Society is destined to become the world of us Quincy after I kill that superdimensional creature. Chapter 134. As Yhwach opened his eyes again, all the Stern Cross members instantly transformed into 26 different divine powers and merged into his body. The Spirit King has also appeared at this time, and the eyes on the huge hand of the world opened. What shocked everyone even more was, even the 10 kings of hell in the underworld and Hades, the god of the underworld in Greek mythology, have arrived above Soul Society. Am I seeing things? The gods who rule other worlds, the 10 kings of hell and Hades, the god of the underworld, have already arrived in Soul Society. Dr. Octopus, not only that, look, even the 72 demon gods of Solomon are already here. Is this going to be a big battle in another world? This is really exciting. Shoo haha, so satisfying. These gods finally couldn't hold it back anymore. They must have been fed up with people saying that the god of death would die too, and couldn't stand people questioning the authority of the gods, so they all ran to the realm of the god of death to help. Morgana laughed until her stomach hurt. But even if it is like this, will it really work? I don't think so. Fairy Chang'e, don't underestimate the majesty of God. Now the superdimensional creature is going to be beaten to pieces by the gods. All gods, come together and destroy that dimensional creature. Seeing many gods from the prehistoric world supporting Audiobook, some of them couldn't wait to break through the dimensional wall and join the battle. Liu in the Galactic Empire still looked indifferent. Humans always like to pin their hopes on human wave tactics, believing that more people will lead to victory, but the facts are sufficient to prove that this is not always the case. However, the gods at the scene had already been stunned by their anger, and the group would not realize the slightest resentment. The 10 kings of hell are ready to let this extra-dimensional creature taste the wrath of the gods. All 72 demon pillars, cast your most terrifying and dark curses to make all superdimensional creatures tremble. I am omniscient and omnipotent. Although I don't know where these guys came from, I can destroy these superdimensional creatures even without you. However, Audiobook and others had not finished speaking. The whole world suddenly fell into chaos. The divine powers of all of them were also enveloped in a layer of chaos at that moment. The people who were originally clearly visible in the picture suddenly turned into darkness. Then snowflakes appeared on the screen. After a while, when a line of text appeared on the screen, all the civilizations in the world took a deep breath. The coordinates of Soul Society, there is no such divine domain, it is suspected to have been destroyed by superdimensional creatures. This line of text shocked all the heavens and worlds. Just now, Waiwak and his group, as well as the gods from other worlds, were killed by that extra-dimensional creature. Shocked Zero Lord, this is impossible. This is an all-out attack from demons and gods from other dimensions, as well as the God King of this world. Dr. Octopus, nothing is impossible. It's just that these gods themselves don't believe in evil. This is enough to prove that as long as there is super god technology, gods can also be destroyed. A 1/4 gun. While the civilizations of the heavens were discussing, a new research report also appeared on the screen. About the announcement of the results of the self-destructive DNA calculation of the gods' destruction rate of gods and spirits, 100.00% gods self-destructive DNA effect time, 20 minutes gene infection rate, 100%, spatial range, Soul Society, Hueco Mundo, the entire human world effect overview, destroy the energy structure in the body of the god, causing the invisible energy aggregate to completely disintegrate. Wreckage recovery, use the superdimensional old god Nyarlathotep to devour the divine domain and achieve 100% debris recovery. When seeing these words, all civilizations in the heavens fell into silence. They suddenly realized that the screen went black just now because Soul Society was forever disconnected from the heavens and myriad worlds. The gods and the entire world have become food for the old god. The reason why Soul Society was destroyed was just a scientific experiment of the mysterious empire. It could even be said to be a whim. Inventory of the most abnormal technological civilization in the universe. Please watch carefully. Those with low tolerance, please watch selectively. This scene made the three pure ones frown. The civilizations of the heavens couldn't help but keep watching. At the same time, Lucia and the others also saw new subtitles appear on the screen in front of them. This time, the Supreme Monarch Qin Zheng did not let Morgana pick up the two of them. Now it seems that perhaps the only option is to accept the facts. They will submit to me. A euro, a yen, GND how, a Radhotep? That's the name of the monster that destroyed Soul Society and the living world? And that monster, with that hand gently squeezed. They were chosen completely randomly, and the opponent was so strong that they didn't even make any combat deployments in advance. When seeing the next scene before their eyes, all civilizations held their breath. The scene of destruction of this Death God civilization is even more exaggerated and shocking than that. The following scene is the video footage of the Death God civilization's outer world exploration satellite. These two lines of text made by Yukui and others feel a little uneasy. It's like crushing a blooming flower. This god-destroying gene is surprisingly powerful. Inu Orium's thin pink lips trembled slightly. The scene moves to the deep space outside Soul Society. The originally powerful god, in front of this hand, was like an insignificant ant. Second place, Doraemon civilization using a superdimensional life form as a carrier, placing this power in the divine realm, and destroying it effortlessly. Is this really something that a technological civilization can do? Look up at the vast sky outside the magnificent building that looks like the palace of the Galactic Empire. However, although he felt fear, he was also full of curiosity about the technology that could destroy the divine world. Because he knew that with the knowledge and vision of these two people, as long as they had seen more of the grandeur in the next day of superdivine technological civilization. As the report scrolls away. Is it just a superdimensional pet owned by our empire? Even the mighty divine power released by all the gods including Waiwak was just 10 fleeting glimmers that inadvertently leaked out from the fingers of that superdimensional life form. A new prompt appeared on the screen. It is easy to imagine that the scene when the colorful stars destroyed the journey to the West civilization is still vivid in the minds of these weak civilizations. The entire Soul Society, including the Hueco Mundo, was crushed in an instant. A hint of helplessness also emerged in her watery eyes. The boundless universe and galaxy. Only Orium Inu and Rukia Kukaki, who had survived by chance, were muttering to themselves in the transit station of the Galactic Empire. Because, they only saw that it was a hand shining with the light of stars that was holding the entire Soul Society and the planet where Hueco Mundo was located. Chapter 135. When you see a new inventory appear on the screen. All the heavens and worlds suddenly came back to their senses from the destruction of the Death God civilization. After all, it is not our own civilization that is destroyed. Meanwhile, technological civilization is also constantly refreshing the cognition of the universe step by step. They gradually realized that gods were not invincible, and even in the face of certain super technologies, these gods were just weak beings. Therefore, their pity and sympathy for the Death civilization was only fleeting. And as the screen changes, new text also appeared on the screen. Doraemon civilization, also known as the fourth dimensional civilization, is the most powerful technological civilization in the seventh dimensional universe. This technological civilization had already reached a technological level comparable to that of Ruikhung 1,500 years ago, and is now developing at an even faster pace. Now, it is the 37th century of Doraemon civilization. As the most powerful civilization in the seventh dimension, this civilization has countless super god level technologies, and more than 760 technologies have reached the level of controlling gods. Therefore, this review will only focus on the most amazing items in Doraemon's civilization and technology. As writing disappeared, the interest of all civilizations was aroused. They also saw that what appeared before their eyes was a city with a strong sense of futuristic technology. The scene here is even more prosperous than that of Ruikhung. All kinds of technologies that seem insignificant but are actually complex and sophisticated cannot be explained by common sense, and their level of development has exceeded the imagination of many civilizations. Is this the strength of the second-ranked abnormal technological civilization? Just by looking at it with my naked eyes, I can't wait to analyze the technology here. Tony sang, I never thought that among all the worlds, there is such a brand new world built entirely with super god science and technology. This is really amazing. Zero, however, if we judge whether a civilization is powerful just by the appearance of the city, isn't this a bit too arbitrary? We still need to look at the technology introduced next before we can make a conclusion. Rick, no matter how powerful a technological civilization is, it can never be a match for us true gods. Can this technological planet be like a god, picking up the sun and the moon, and embracing the stars? I don't believe it has the ability to destroy the 3,000 worlds in the blink of an eye. You and Shitianzan, you gods from the prehistoric world, do you only remember to eat and not to be beaten? Last time you said that gods would not die, what happened to those zero-sum masters? Have you all forgotten? It was also at this time that a new picture appeared on the screen. I saw a boy of about 11 or 12 years old with a shaved head and round glasses crying as he walked up the stairs of his house to the second floor. He hugged a chubby blue kid who was eating dorayaki on the second floor and said, "Wow, Doraemon, I want to buy a new scooter, but my mom won't give me money. She also said I can't just have whatever I want. But Sunio and Fat Tiger both have it. I think it's unfair. Why can't children make money? If that's the case, it would be great if there really was no money in the world." However, I saw the depressed expression on his face. The harmless Doraemon with a bell tied around its neck swallowed the dorayaki in one gulp and asked him, "Nobita, do you really think so? I've actually thought about it. If I didn't have to spend money, I could eat dorayaki all the time. How about we create a world like that?" Seeing his smiling face, he inadvertently said something shocking. Nobita's eyes widened. "Are you serious? Do you really have such a technological tool?" "Of course I would never joke about something like this. Just wait and see." Seeing his beaming with joy, he spoke as if it was a matter of course. Even the civilizations in the heavens were shocked. This blue, earless robot cat said he wanted to create a world? As they wait and see, Doraemon actually took out a telephone booth as high as the ceiling from the pocket on his stomach. See the yellow telephone booth and the blue-green Swanyu telephone. Nobita was also confused. "Doraemon, you said this phone booth can create a world without money? How is that possible?" "Don't worry, my four-dimensional pocket is connected to the future, and I can even get any props I want from the future." "You mean, this phone booth is from the future? And it's a brand new technology from the future?" Amid the shocked expressions of Nobita and the gods, Doraemon also smiled proudly. "That's right, as long as you pick up the phone and say that it would be great if you could buy things in this world without spending money. Then starting tomorrow, you can buy whatever you want without spending money." Look at Doraemon's serious face. Rick, who was standing in front of the screen, almost smashed his bottle on the table. What did this blue fat guy say? He said he wanted to create a whole world? And all he had to do was make a phone call? Isn't this just kidding? This is almost impossible, right? Rick can only travel between parallel worlds, but he is only a scientist who discovers things, and he cannot create the world himself. Morty, as all the civilizations waited and watched, Nobita made the call as Doraemon said. "Hello, I want a world where you don't need to spend money to buy things. It would be great if you didn't need to spend money to buy something." Seeing that he deliberately emphasized it twice, Rick couldn't help but sneer. These 10 civilizations are really ranked above our Ruikhung. No matter how you look at it, it's just a trick that Song Doraemon uses to coax children. As the scene fast forwards, time comes to the next morning. Nobita got up and stretched. "Mom, I'm up." Seeing him coming downstairs with an excited look on his face, Dakshang's mother couldn't help but wonder, strange, wasn't this child depressed yesterday because I didn't buy him a bicycle? Why is he so lively now? Only Nobita knows that the world looks the same as before at first glance, but in fact it has been changed by himself. After a while, when he walked out of the house, he happened to meet Sunio, Fat Tiger, and Shizuka, who were riding bicycles. "Nobita, why are you dawdling? You're going to be late again." "It's okay, Shizuka, we don't need to worry about him. He's used to being late and being punished by the teacher." Hearing the laughter of the crowd, Nobita walked slowly to a bicycle shop. In a state of anxiety, he asked curiously, "Boss, can you give me a bicycle? But I don't have any money." Just when everyone was holding their breath, the boss actually smiled and said, "Do you even need to ask? The bicycles here are free, just pick one you like." Chapter 136. Hearing this, Nobita was overjoyed. After choosing the coolest red bicycle, he caught up with Fat Tiger and his friends in 10 minutes. "Shizuka, look at my new red bicycle. Isn't it cool?" A look of shock now appeared on Shizuka's already cute and playful face. Wow, I didn't expect you to have your own bicycle, Nobita, so cool, I'm crying. Hey, that's nothing. Look at the smug smile on his face. Xiaofu and Fat Tiger were stunned. Not to mention them, even the heavens and all the worlds were shocked. What did this kid do? Didn't he make a phone call yesterday? Why is the boss willing to give him a bicycle for free? Tony Stark, this is impossible. Could it be that the boss was bribed by Doraemon and is acting with Nobita? A1/4 Rick, I think that maybe the phone booth is some kind of magical device that can control people's minds, but can such technology really be considered super divine technology? However, when the civilizations of the heavens were wondering, the scene when Big Bear returns home at night is enough to prove that this telephone booth is truly a super god level technology. Because not only Nobita, even his parents said that everything was free after coming back from shopping today, and the boss even gave them money, indicating that they had to pay for buying things. For a while, everyone in Nobita's family began to worry about the increasing amount of money at home. What can we do? The more things we buy, the more waste paper like money will be. We can only bury the money. When I saw my parents actually starting to dig a hole in the backyard, Nobita's jaw dropped in shock, and he couldn't help asking Doraemon, what's going on, Doraemon? I don't have to spend money just to buy things, but why do my parents bury the money now? Doraemon also held out his round hand helplessly after hearing this, because the telephone booth will realize your wishes according to your will and create the world you want. When you called, you didn't say that you wanted money to still have value, so the world created by the telephone booth assumes that money has no value. Hearing this, Yin Xiong suddenly thought of a terrible possibility. If this continues, the money won't be spent, and everything will be buried, not just the banknotes but also the steel shops. Wouldn't the world soon be drowned in money? Maybe. I saw that Doraemon's answer was ambiguous. Nobita quickly shook his head like a rattle. No, I still want the old world. He made a phone call and gave the following instruction. Hello, I am not satisfied with this world, please change it to my original world. Received instruction, wish effective time, tomorrow morning 6 o'clock the next morning. When Nobita returned to the normal world, he was surprised to find that his bicycle was missing. Hey, Doraemon, where's my bike? Of course I'll stay in the parallel world you created. Seeing Doraemon speaking as if it was a matter of course, Nobita's eyes widened. What do you mean by staying in the parallel world I created? I don't understand. Not to mention him, even the people in the heavens and the world who were watching the live broadcast were shocked. Such an inconspicuous telephone booth is actually a parallel world maker? Am I crazy or is that blue fat man talking nonsense? Confused cryogenic artist, if this is true, it would be too incredible. In this telephone booth, a random phone call can create a parallel world. Doesn't that mean we can create any parallel world we want? In other words, we can even ask everyone to study the parallel universe of technology and use it to develop the technology of our civilization. It would be great if we could understand this technology. The jaw-dropping Snow King at this time, the blue fat man in the picture also explained patiently. This phone booth is essentially a parallel universe maker. Every command you send out will cause the phone booth to copy and process a world that is similar to your original world, but modified according to your instructions. If you choose to withdraw the command, it means that the parallel universe has been wiped out by you. Everything in that parallel universe has also disappeared. It's like you created a new game save file, but you are not satisfied with it, so you delete the save file. Do you understand this explanation? Although Nobita, a poor student, only partially understood what these words were saying. He just felt sorry that the red bicycle he wanted was gone with the wind. However, when watching the inventory of the civilizations in front of the screen, two words appeared in my mind at the same time, against the will of heaven. Request flowers. Rick has not yet figured out the reason for the creation of parallel universes. You can just shuttle through it. 90% of the civilizations on this internet of worlds have no knowledge of parallel universes. But now, this Doraemon has taken out an inconspicuous prop from his four-dimensional pocket, and it can create parallel space. It is easy to imagine how shocking this is. Rick didn't care about the saliva at the corner of his mouth at this time, and couldn't help but exclaimed, FK. Who is this blue fat guy? Is he the creator of this super technology? He is simply the god of technology among the many scientists I know. I want his contact information within 3 seconds, I must become friends with him. 0. It was so exciting to see Rick. Morgana didn't find it strange. After all, in the Galactic Empire, this technology is widely used and can be said to be quite common. Especially in the field of scientific research, parallel worlds are created and scientific experiments are conducted. Once a global disaster occurs, the world can be destroyed by undoing the operation. In this way, scientists can focus on conducting scientific experiments without worrying about the possibility that the world they create may need to be recycled. At this time, she couldn't help but post a comment. This is nothing. Compared to the other super technologies in Doraemon's civilization, this technology of creating and destroying parallel universes is only the most basic technology. Even in the Galactic Empire, this technology is not worth mentioning. After seeing this barrage, the civilizations of the heavens also changed their attitude towards Doraemon's civilization. They had not been optimistic about this civilization at the beginning, but now they were eager to learn more. Even many gods from the prehistoric times were curious about what bigger surprises this blue fat man would give them. At the same time, Nobita in the picture once again ran to Doraemon crying. Doraemon, I've been bullied by Tiger and the others again. Chirp chirp. What happened this time? They say I can only dream and it's impossible for me to travel through space. Give me the props, and I will convince them. Chapter 137. Hearing Nobita's request, Doraemon shook his head helplessly. Oh my, you are like this every time. Whenever there is a problem, you ask me to solve it for you. I really can't do anything with you. Please, Doraemon, as long as you give me the props, I can buy you dorayaki with all my pocket money next month. Hearing this, Doraemon's eyes immediately lit up. Are you telling the truth? Of course, I promise. If I lie, Fat Tiger will beat me up every day. I'll get 0 points on the test. Never mind. Even if you don't swear an oath, this is your daily routine. Doraemon said this and brought Nobita to the open space in the backyard. At the same time, he also took out a toy-like spaceship from his four-dimensional pocket. Look, this is the latest spaceship of our Dora civilization. It can reach the surface of the sun in a short time. It is not afraid of high temperatures and can keep the temperature inside the spacecraft at the most suitable temperature at all times. Also, you can take Fat Tiger and his friends to the moon's surface, or to other galaxies in the universe to visit nebulae and galaxies in just a few minutes. Doraemon was so excited when he spoke these words that they shocked all the civilizations in the heavens. After all, in their eyes, Doraemon is just a toy robot cat, but he can actually take out a spaceship from his pocket that can easily travel through outer space and even withstand the high temperature of the sun for a long time. Just this point alone has made 95% of the civilizations in the universe feel inferior. Among the remaining civilizations on the list, many have not yet been able to overcome the technical difficulty of resisting the high temperature of the sun. If they were faced with such high technology, they would surely worship Doraemon and go with him to visit Doraemon's civilization, wishing they would never come back. But unexpectedly, Ren Xiong shook his head desperately at this time. No, Doraemon, this prop is too ordinary. Fat Tiger and the others have already shown everyone the outer space and science class. If I bring out this spaceship, people will think I am an afterthought. This spaceship is too simple and boring. It's not even as cool as the spaceship you brought me to the future with. So, when he just made the invitation, Fat Tiger's eyes lit up. After hearing this, Doraemon curled his lips. Your request is really complicated. No, Lord Doraemon couldn't help scratching his head. He also looked at Morty next to him with a melancholy face. Morty, I used to think that you were the most naughty kid in the world, and you always asked me to take you to other worlds to do some stupid adventures. But I didn't expect that today I finally met someone who is even more annoying than you. Nobita is really a naughty kid. However, when I saw that the venue was just Nobita's bedroom, the difference is huge. My spaceship needs to pass through the portal I created to travel tens of thousands of light years. Even advanced civilizations like the nullifiers may make mistakes when making space jumps. One spaceship even failed to jump and entered the territory of the outer god Atrok. It became a ghost spaceship outside the Aquila Nebula and could never return to its own galaxy. You are not satisfied with this spaceship? Then tell me, what kind of space travel do you want? Don't worry, I promise that the props Doraemon brings out this time will definitely surprise you. If you are not satisfied, just beat me up. At the same time, in the picture, he was busy cleaning up, fearing that Shizuka would dislike his bedroom for being so dirty and messy. Hearing this, Rick almost vomited blood. Nobita didn't know that at this time, Fat Tiger was feeling depressed because there was no field for him and Sunio to play baseball and he was scolded by the neighbor uncle. It's very possible that this kid is just pretending to be a pig and eating the tiger. The environment he is in now and even his own home are just extremely realistic three-dimensional images created by him to relieve the past. He is not just a junior high school student, but actually the founder or scientist of Doraemon civilization, and he is deliberately acting for us civilizations. Mirror civilization. Oh my god, this Nobita really doesn't know how to appreciate his fortune. He actually only uses this level of spacecraft for space travel, which is really a waste of money. Seeing his solemn promise, Nobita hesitated. But if you can't do it, won't I be beaten by Fat Tiger again? When Nobita saw the roll of red tape, he was stunned for a moment. But thinking that this might be a prank by Nobita, Fat Tiger said angrily, Nobita, are you telling the truth? If you are lying, I will not let you go. Seeing that he was so confident, Yingxian had no choice but to call Xiaofu, Fat Tiger, and the others. All the civilizations in the heavens couldn't help but exclaim. After knowing this fact, half an hour later, Sunio and others arrived at Nobita's house. Fat Tiger was furious. Nobita, are you kidding me? Your bedroom is only 30 square meters in size, and you told me that we can play freely. When saying this, Xiong closed his eyes. In short, I want to go to a place that no one has ever been to. It must be unique. It must be large enough for all my classmates to come and play and we can go wherever we want. I knew you would say that. This is not an ordinary roll of tape. Go and call all your classmates now. I promise to create a place for you all to have fun without being disturbed. Morty couldn't help but frown after hearing this. Grandpa, are you praising me? But doesn't that spaceship look similar to our flying saucers? Is there anything special about it? However, even though he said this, Doraemon still took out a roll of tape from his four-dimensional pocket. Doraemon, what is this? I want a prop that can create space, but why did you give me a bundle of tape? Seeing the look of fear on his face, Doraemon comforted him at this moment. But after hearing what Nobita said, Doraemon is smiling at this moment. It's like he's ready to die. I think he is in Versailles. This kind of spaceship can be used for interstellar trade and mineral resource collection. It is a combination of various super technologies such as space resistance analysis technology and dimension crossing technology. Lelch, but the spaceship that Fat Blue created is completely different. It can even withstand the high temperature of the sun. Even its design and power structure are of a super universe dimension. Don't be fooled by its cartoon-like and two-dimensional appearance. In fact, its material is several times more sophisticated than my flying saucer. I can't even analyze that special metal. Don't worry, Nobita, I promise I won't let you get beaten, and I promise I will give you a big surprise. Chapter 138. Just when Fat Tiger was about to take action, Doraemon took out the tape and stopped him. Wait, Nobita is not lying, I'm going to show you now. As he was talking, Doraemon had already torn off the sticky part of the tape and stuck one end of it to the left side of Nobita's closet. As he continued to pull the tape, it stuck to the right side of the closet and broke the tape. Nobita's closet disappeared. Instead, there is a coconut grove, clear water, and white sand beach. This scene made Fat Tiger's eyes widen. Doraemon, what the hell are you doing? Is this some kind of space portal? Xiaofu was still being smart and said angrily, Tisk, Fat Tiger, don't be fooled by him, this is obviously fake. As he spoke, Buletangguan had already stretched out his hand towards the beach. This is obviously an illusion created by Doraemon using holographic projection. Nobita lied on purpose because we laughed at him. But before he could finish his words, Xiaofu was stunned because his hand had passed through the wall. I could even feel the gentle sea breeze. What was even more shocking was that a seagull flew over from the beach and pecked at his men. When everyone crosses the red tape line, they were immediately shocked. This is actually a deserted beach, and there is also a beverage and ice cream shop here. There are also various recreational facilities on the beach, including swimsuit changing rooms and beach volleyball courts. This discovery. Fat Tiger and the others all opened their eyes wide. Oh my god, Nobita, you are so awesome, how did you do that? Shizuka was very excited at this time. It's still autumn in Sakura country. Nobita, you are so awesome, how did you do it? Seeing her excited face, Nobita scratched his head and smiled. I told you a long time ago that I can let you take a space trip, but you still don't believe me. In the future, even if it rains and the baseball field can't be used, you can still come here to play. I won't charge you any tickets, everything is free. However, seeing the smug expression on Nobita's face, Fat Tiger grabbed him by the collar. Nobita, do you think I don't know that Doraemon has a portal that can take you anywhere on Earth? You're trying to trick me with this trick? This isn't space travel at all. You're still going to get beaten. Fat Tiger suddenly changed his mind and looked fierce. Nobita shook his head desperately. No, Fat Tiger, this is really space travel. Shizuka also hurriedly stopped him at this time. Fat Tiger, stop it. Nobita has found a place for us to play, and other students can come over later. You can't do anything to him. However, even though Shizuka tried to stop it. But not only Fat Tiger, but even the civilizations in the heavens who were watching the live broadcast were very curious. This could be nothing more than a simple teleportation. It can't be considered space travel at all, and compared with cosmic adventures like wormholes and black holes, it's not exciting at all. This kind of technology can also be called super god technology. Why do I feel that this is just a splicing of space? Just like my teleportation gun song made the portal in the middle invisible. Rick, I agree. The tape is probably a portal opening device in essence. It's not that powerful at all. Such technology is everywhere in the universe above the third dimension. Zero Lord, really? I'm so envious. A civilization like ours even has space teleportation devices. Maybe that's what makes your technological giants so awesome? Are you still missing leg accessories? The Trisolarans who have become units of measurement, you are too short-sighted. This tape is definitely not as simple as you think. I can also guarantee that Doraemon will definitely shock you in a moment, because the power of this tape is something that even gods may not be able to achieve. Morgana knew that these civilizations were short-sighted and only saw things partially. The true capabilities of this tape are far beyond their imagination. However, these civilizations have not yet realized the seriousness of the problem. Sure enough, just when Fat Tiger was about to take action, Doraemon suddenly tore off another piece of tape within the space, stuck on both sides of the water bar entrance. As new spaces emerge, Fat Tiger was stunned. Because on the other side of the tape was an endless deep seabed, and the creatures swimming in it were things Fat Tiger had never seen before. Some were so huge that only one of its eyes could be seen through the space the size of a garage door. This scene that made people's sanity level drop wildly made Fat Tiger, Sunio, and others sit down on the ground. Doraemon, what was that just now? It's too scary, isn't it? Is there some unknown world on the other side of that door? I'm so scared. Seeing their faces full of fear, Doraemon said. Don't worry, it's just a deep sea universe I created. This sentence made Fat Tiger's jaw drop. What did you say? You created a universe. Xiaofu's eyes widened like most of the civilizations in the universe. How is this possible? Just a piece of tape can create a universe. This is impossible, Doraemon is lying. Is this what they call space travel? It turns out that they create a whole new space by themselves? I don't understand, but I am really shocked. Even in the face of Sunio and the others' shock, Doraemon still explained patiently as if nothing had happened. Yes, this tape is called Horizon Tape. It can create a space that the user wants according to his thoughts and ideas. And because it is the horizon, this space will never end. As long as I want it to be infinite. At the same time, when you want to leave this space, the tape will become the end and horizon of this space. If we cross the tape again, we can return to Nobita's room. This news shocked all the civilizations in the heavens even more. How did the tape do that? Is it a technology of space division and creation in itself? What is its kinetic energy? What material is it made of? I saw the barge flashing by wildly. Many civilizations in the heavens were completely shocked, and even Yuan Shi Tianzun and others looked at each other in bewilderment. For gods to create the world, they need powerful divine power in all things in the world, yin and yang, and the 5 elements as the foundation. But for Doraemon to create space, he only needs a piece of inconspicuous tape. This is more than just against the will of heaven. This is simply perverted. However, in the face of the god's horror, Morgana did not take it seriously. What is this? Space manufacturing technology and world manufacturing technology are just the basics for the Galactic Empire. However, just when Nobita and others were happy that they had such a paradise to play in, there was a roar coming from Nobita's room. Nobita, what are you doing again? You don't even throw away the used tape, and it's just stuck like this. When will you be able to live forever? Chapter 139. Hearing this exclamation, Nobita immediately rushed to the entrance of the space. Mom, it's not what you think. I was just playing with my friends. But seeing his playful smile, Nobita's mother Tomoko still had a stern face at this moment. Don't act like that. Don't think I don't know. You asked Doraemon to give you props so that you can play with them so that you don't have to do your homework. Don't I know what you're thinking? When Yuzai said this, Nobita scratched his head, looking embarrassed. Mom, it's not what you think, I swear. But at this time, Yuzai also found the beach on the other side of the tape. She angrily crossed the tape cordon, looked at Fat Tiger and the others who were playing, and said angrily. You still say no, what is this? It's useless even if you deny it. I tell you, Nobita, you are the only child in your family. If you don't study hard, you will become a homeless person in the future. Are you planning to form a group with the unsteady Cherry Mariko next door to beg for food? As Yuzai finished her words, she grabbed the tape stuck on the outside of the closet. This action made Lalameng Xianghan say, "Mom, stop it." However, when Dora wanted to explain, it was too late. The next second, Yuzai had already torn off the tape. As Nobita's room disappeared, Doraemon frowned. This is terrible. We have lost the coordinates of Nobita's room in the universe. We may be trapped here forever. This sentence shocked Yuzai. No way, I just pulled a piece of tape, how could it lead to such serious consequences? Nobita stomped his feet in anger at this time, and lost his temper with his mother for the first time. Mom, don't you know this? This is a space created by Doraemon. The place with the tape is the gate. Now that you've torn off the tape, we're all trapped here and can't get out. I don't know either. Nobita, how come you know so much about science? If you put half of your energy into studying, how come you always get zeros on exams? However, when they heard that they were going to be trapped here, everyone present panicked. Fat Tiger was so angry that he grabbed Nobita by the collar again. Look, this is all because you didn't lock the door. If you had locked the door, this wouldn't have happened. Mama's boy Ziofu also urged, Doraemon, you must find a way to send us back, otherwise my mother will go crazy if I disappear. Shizuka also said with tears in her eyes at this time. Doraemon, don't you have a door? Can you send us out? Oh, yes, how could I have forgotten that? While Doraemon was talking, he had already taken out the door from his four-dimensional pocket. When I saw this pink door, Nobita felt a surge of joy. As the few people passed through the arbitrary door, they actually returned to Nobita's room. However, this seemingly insignificant operation also shocked Rick and other advanced civilizations. Oh my god, what did that guy just do? What kind of device is this door? How did he break through the dimensional wall? This is almost as incredible as my teleportation gun. Seeing Rick so shocked, many civilizations that did not make the list and did not understand this technology were still confused. Isn't this just a simple portal? It looks no different from the horizon tape just now. What is this? How many surprises does Doraemon have that we don't know about? Tony Stark Nobita's original room became dilapidated. Yes, is there any mystery hidden in this portal? When he saw the newspaper, Nobita's nose was sore. Doraemon, this won't work. If we don't find a way to fix the problem, won't we be taken to the laboratory for dissection? Mom now looks 30 years younger than Dad, it's too scary. It turned out that during the short few minutes they were in the parallel space. Doraemon said this and brought Nobita and others to the front of the drawer. As all civilizations waited and watched, Rick sent out a barrage of comments. When the public civilization looked at the screen again, they also noticed. Morty. As he was talking, Doraemon had actually crawled into the drawer. Oh, Doraemon, it suddenly occurred to me that this time travel machine might not fall off after F,000 years. Oh my god, how did my room become like this? What happened to Doraemon? Just to protect their house, believing that Nobita would come back sooner or later, Nobita's father never sold the house. Instead, he stayed here alone and never touched anything in Nobita's room. 30 years have passed in the world where Nobita originally lived. You are right. If it is just a connection between two spaces, it is normal. But don't forget that this beach space was created by the blue fat man. And when Nobita's mother tore off the tape just now, the connection between the two spaces was cut off. The originally connected space has become two unconnected spaces. When I saw him open the second drawer on the left side of Daxing's desk, from Wang Zhao, Nobita was still a little worried. Because he firmly believed that sooner or later Nobita would come back with Doraemon, crying and asking for pocket money, begging his mother not to beat him. This explanation suddenly dawned on all the civilizations in the heavens. Because the speed of time flowing in the two worlds is inconsistent. However, before the civilizations in the heavens could be shocked. Moreover, Nobita's father, who was originally reading a newspaper on the first floor, has now become a white-haired old man. Doraemon discovered this when he grabbed the newspaper in the hallway. The civilizations of the heavens only then saw that in this drawer, there was actually a strange device that looked like an Arabian flying dart. Nobita and others followed closely behind. From today on, I, Rick Sanchez, will be a loyal fan of Fat Blue. Fat Blue and Rick will adventure forever. Rick in this case, the two spaces have no intersection and are always parallel. However, the pink door can forcibly connect the two spaces and create a connection again, which is equivalent to breaking the dimensional wall of the parallel universe. Do you understand what I mean now? How is that possible? This is an invention from the 37th century. It won't break even after hundreds of years. Nobita suddenly let out a cry of surprise. As a result, Nobita's father has been searching for Nobita and Tomoko for more than 30 years without success. So that's how it is. This means that the teleportation gun forcibly breaks the boundary between two parallel spaces in a short period of time, and this door forcibly stitches the two spaces together, creating a passage that can be entered and exited at will. Don't worry about you, we can go back in the time machine. We just need to use the time machine to stop Mom from pulling off the tape. In the picture on the screen. What kind of heaven-defying super-technological device is this? I am completely convinced by Fatty Blue. Lord of Zero as the screen. Switches. Chapter 140. When the scene turned back to Doraemon, the civilizations of the heavens saw it. This is a strange device similar to a magic carpet. There is an operating table and a red leather sofa in the front, and on the right side, there is a lighting device similar to a street lamp. On the rear left side, there are 3 red spherical joysticks. As Doraemon manipulated the panel, Yuzai was shocked. Come to think of it, this is the first time I see Doraemon controlling this device. Can it really take us back to the time before I pulled the tape? Of course, Mom, just watch. After Doraemon adjusted the time and coordinates, he pulled the lever. Then, the time machine began to work. Travel through a time tunnel filled with colorful clock dials. The time machine stopped after a while. Above everyone's head, a square hole the size of an open drawer appeared. Let's go. Mom will probably have to tear off the tape in about a minute. On the other side, the scene returns to Nobita's room. At this time, Nobita was arguing with Tamako, asking her not to tear off the tape. When Nobita saw this, he rushed forward and said, "Mom, stop it." Uzi was stunned for a moment when she saw Fat Tiger and others coming out of the drawer one after another, and finally herself. She was so frightened that she fainted. However, at least she was stopped from tearing off the tape, and Nobita finally breathed a sigh of relief. 657 However, the next second, he suddenly felt his eyes go dark, and then he knew nothing. When he opened his eyes again, Doraemon was squatting next to him eating dorayaki. Nobita also sat up alertly. "Hey? Where's Mom? Where did Xiaofu and the others go? Don't you see what time it is? They've all gone home tired from playing." While Doraemon was talking, Nobita suddenly remembered that Tamako had entered his room just now. "By the way, how about saving Mom? She just came in and gave me some dorayaki, and then left without saying anything." However, at this moment, Nobita suddenly thought of a key question. "Oh, right, Doraemon. If my mom hadn't torn off the tape just now, she wouldn't have entered that space with us, let alone entered the time machine. This future never happened. Then wouldn't she and Sunio remember anything? Don't worry about that. I just recorded it with my bell and showed it to my mother after the world was corrected. She just said that next time I shouldn't use such dangerous tools again. But I always feel that she is a little sad, but she just doesn't want to say it directly." Hearing this, Nobita became scared. Is she angry again? It's over, it's over. I've made a big mistake this time and almost ruined my life and hers. Ting Ting will never let me go. How could that be? If that were the case, she wouldn't have to specially send dorayaki over. Doraemon knew that Tamako was standing at the door at this time. Although she didn't remember what happened, she felt relieved when she thought of Nobita who tried his best to correct his mistakes and even knew a lot of physics. However, in comparison, the civilizations of the heavens showed a strong interest in the drawer. These are just trifles and tricks, not worth mentioning. Look at his feet put together in an inward-facing position. They also gradually realized that science and technology report was a field they had never touched before. Outer gods? That's right. We gods can create the world as we please. This so-called super god technology is nothing but a poor imitation of us gods. The Doraemon civilization that has emerged so far has reached a level that is astonishing. I think there is a space stabilization device on the time machine. Otherwise, if they go back to the past at that speed, it would be faster than the speed of light. How can the human body withstand such an intense time travel? Lord of Zero, it can even be said that it is an existence more powerful than Doraemon civilization. Hearing this, Doraemon got a little angry. What nonsense are you talking about? Mechanical life forms are also life forms, and in the future, it was your descendants who found it troublesome to do this and that by themselves, so they researched the field of robots to the extreme and created me. Doraemon's words startled Nobita. Thinking of this, they became even more curious and awed by this huge technological empire they were in. Only the gods from the prehistoric times were still sneering and resisting stubbornly. However, the technological civilization that accommodates itself has not yet appeared on the rankings. So, that drawer should be a device similar to Doraemon's four-dimensional pocket, right? Lelech in the eyes of the civilization of the heavens, this time machine is also another great invention of Doraemon civilization. Then what else can I do? Should I let Fat Tiger beat you up again? You were unconscious just now, and I couldn't stop you. Indeed, it seems that it can hold a lot of objects, and even create the same atmosphere as the outside of the drawer. It can even protect Nobita and his friends, so that they don't have to worry about being decomposed into carbon particles during the time travel. The power of this technology is definitely not to be underestimated. Rick just, when I saw what he took out. Seeing these comments, even Kokaki Rukia and Anu Orium were very sure. Doraemon rummaged in his pocket again. Doraemon frowned, is it that serious? Besides, this is not an ordinary caterpillar, it is a wormhole making worm. The civilizations in the heavens have gone from initially looking down on the blue fat man to now looking forward to it. Look at Nobita hugging his thighs again. Nobita was so scared that he sat down on the ground. It seems that he is about to take out some heaven-defying technological props. What are you talking about? I managed to snatch that comic book with great difficulty. There are only 100 copies in the entire area. How could you let him take it away like that? This is too much. Seeing him pouting, Nobita frowned. Wormhole maker? Rick couldn't help but hold his forehead. FK, no matter what Doraemon brings out next, I won't find it strange. I must find the universe he is in as soon as possible and make friends with him. By the way, Nobita, I forgot to tell you something. Fat Tiger just took away all the limited edition comics in your bookcase. He also said he would return them after a while. Just consider it as compensation for being scared. Okay, just assume I'm wrong, but Fat Tiger never returns my things he borrows, or he uses my things to show off and even breaks them. Doraemon, I beg you, you're also a machine. Haven't you ever heard the comic books that were broken by Fat Tiger crying coldly in the middle of the night? Why do the super-intelligent robots of the future have their own emotions and subjective thoughts? It would be great if they could give you fixed instructions and let you execute them like the new robots now, and you would not resist. I wonder what other incredible items he'll come up with. Doraemon, how come you have caterpillars? I hate these things the most. This is definitely God talking big. Chapter 141. But Rick thought this thing was magical. But some civilizations have raised doubts. Isn't it just an ordinary caterpillar? Can it break the distance of space and create a space tunnel? Cryogenic artist, however, since this is the technology of Doraemon civilization, then perhaps it is not impossible. However, it is also difficult for me to imagine that a human child like Nobita is the ancestor of the creator of the future Doraemon civilization and even the blue fat man, Zero King. It's not impossible. After all, many geniuses are regarded as talents, and they are questioned whether there is any problem with their intelligence during school. It is understandable that Nobita would be suspected. My grandson Morty is like this. You can see that he just passes every exam, but he can use many super technological devices I invented. Nobita always gets 0 points, perhaps because he is too lazy to answer the questions, because the exams are too boring and meaningless. Rick, it is not without reason that the civilizations in the heavens would doubt whether this caterpillar can create a wormhole. As we all know, the so-called wormhole is a channel that allows people to instantly transfer space or travel through time. The two sides are often two spaces that are several galaxies apart. Essentially, a wormhole is a space-time vortex. It is generated by the rotation of stellar bodies and the effect of gravity, using vortices to shorten the distance between the two sides of the channel. The antimatter or some strange energy contained in it cannot be analyzed by at least 90% of the civilizations in this world. There are very few civilizations like Rick that can transcend parallel time and space and create a teleportation gun. But now, Doraemon says that this green caterpillar the size of a palm can create a wormhole. How can one not feel shocked when two different places are connected in an instant? It is currently under public speculation. Doraemon also said this to Nobita solemnly. Nobita, don't disbelieve me, just think of the two places you want to go, and then give instructions to this little boat. Nobita nodded and said, okay, I'll give it a try. I think Fat Tiger should be showing off the comics he got in the open space now. Then please make a hole in the cement pipe in the open space. Hear the news. The caterpillar also nodded and started digging a hole in Nobita's bedroom door. Look more carefully and you will see the civilization of the heavens. This caterpillar has a peculiar shape and looks ordinary at first glance, but it has a device on its head that looks like a pair of stereoscopic imaging glasses, giving it a very technological feel. And is a liquid similar to the stars in the universe is secreted from its mouth. A round hole really appeared on Nobita's door. However, when I saw this hole that was big enough for one person to pass through, Nobita suddenly widened his eyes. Time travel, wormhole creation, and space world creation, the technology that Doraemon civilization has demonstrated so far has already astounded me. I also believe that this has long surpassed the realm of gods, right? Rick, ouch, that hurts. Nobita, you dare to hit me, I'll beat you up. He looked everywhere but couldn't find it. Hey? Was it just my hallucination? Look, these are the comics I just stole from Nobita. They are limited editions. If you want to read them, you can borrow them from me. It's only 100 yuan a day. Woolen cloth. But let me make it clear first, clones are not small. That's not necessarily true. We, the gods of ancient mythology, can create the world with a wave of our hands. A drop of sweat and a speck of dust create a world, a brilliant and glorious epic. No matter how powerful the Doraemon civilization is, it only focuses on the research and development of space technology, right? Obviously, it is still very different from the ancient gods who created the world. Pangu God Nobita opened the door after hearing this, but was surprised to find that there was nothing on the other side of the door. At this moment, Fat Tiger's voice was heard from outside the cement pipe. Words are not enough, seeing is believing. You talk so powerfully, why don't you show us how to do it? A technological civilization can create the world? I guess what it creates is not as good as ordinary humans, right? In just a blink of an eye, the two came out of the exit and entered the cement pipe. It's okay, just open the door and look at the other side. 80, no less, or I won't lend it to you. I don't understand what you are saying. Anyway, as long as I can get the comic book back, that's all. Doraemon, how did you do that? This is amazing. What did he say? He opened the wormhole just to get back his stolen comics? Everyone, you guys chat first. I need some quiet time. A returning snow monarch as Big Bear said this, he and Doraemon entered the wormhole together. However, Nobita's words almost made the civilizations outside the screen spit out blood. Fat Tiger said this while proudly shaking the comic books in his hands. But the next second after he spoke, Yingxiang disappeared. While he was stunned, Nobita took back all the comic books he had placed on the other side of the concrete pipe, and he felt secretly delighted. Hearing his words, many gods were surprised. What? You said it was borrowed, but it was snatched from me. As Nobita spoke, he grabbed a stone from outside the cement pipe and threw it at Fat Tiger. However, seeing these comments, Morgana couldn't help but sneer, you gods only have these two tricks, creating the world and reaching for the moon, and these three tricks are gone. This so-called amazing power of creation is already commonplace for Doraemon civilization. Doraemon, what are you doing? If my mother finds this cave, she will definitely scold me for making a hole in the door. Doraemon, you are so kind. This wormhole is really convenient. If Fat Tiger bullies me again, I can use the wormhole to get all the comics back. Hearing the news, Nobita suddenly frowned. What's the big deal? You have to know that the wormhole exists independently of the two connected spaces, so the space it is in will naturally not interfere with the matter in your space. Please give me flowers. Who is Qin Zheng? Give me one too. I am a little confused now. Is this the Doraemon civilization from the 37th century? It is so terrifying that we are really far behind. A cryogenic artist however, seeing the smug look on Fat Tiger's face, Xiaofo said, ah. This is too expensive. My monthly allowance is only 200 or 300 yuan. Can you lend it to me for 51 days? I agree. I, Nuwa, can make soldiers out of beans, create people out of clay, and use my body to mend the sky. Can this blue fat guy do the same? Nuwa, the great goddess, think carefully, I borrowed it from Nobita with great difficulty. If you can't afford it, I'll take it back and read it myself. It just so happens that I haven't seen the latest content of Lion Mask yet. Chapter 142. Seeing that the Hongwang civilization refused to believe what he said, Morgana didn't find it strange. After all, seeing is believing. Moreover, for gods, a somersault across tens of thousands of miles and across billions of light years seems like just a snap of the fingers. It is also because they cannot understand how difficult it is to shift in space and travel through wormholes, so they feel that this is not enough to highlight the technological strength that surpasses that of gods, and it does not seem strange. However, Morgana also believed that the next innovation of Doraemon civilization would definitely shut up those creator gods who had just said that technology could not create the world, could not build advanced civilization, and could not even reach the moon and pick the stars. However, Rukia Kukaki and Orium Inu were deeply shocked by Doraemon's civilization. At this time, Inu Orium's lips trembled slightly. This terrifying technological civilization is not even a hair behind the Galactic Empire. It turns out that the defeat of us death gods is inevitable. Facing a technology that is powerful enough to distort space and surpass the technology of the god 257, we have no power to fight back. Rukia Kukaki previously believed that her survival was sad and painful. But now she gradually realized that this might be a gift from the Supreme God. It was her intuition that kept telling her. The powerful technological strength of this empire is definitely stronger than Doraemon civilization. Perhaps, they really have divine power that surpasses all gods. At the same time, as the screen changes, the time has come to the night of Tanabata festival in Nobita's world. At this time, Nobita and Shizuka were attending the Lantern Festival wearing festive bathrobes. Looking up at the endless Milky Way above her head, Shizuka said helplessly. Speaking of which, tonight is the day when the cowherd and the weaver girl meet on the Magpie Bridge. Nobita, look at how beautiful the stars in the sky are. They are so beautiful that it is speechless. It would be great if I could pick a planet and put it at home for viewing. At this time, Fat Tiger also said, come to think of it, Nobita, Doraemon has a lot of props to use, maybe he can help us pick a star from the sky. However, when I saw the expectant expression on his face. But Ziofa shook his head. That's impossible. Even though the stars look small now, they are actually quite far away from us, billions of light years away. It will definitely be bigger than people can imagine. Moreover, most of the stars emit light and heat, so they must be very hot. When he said this, he deliberately glanced at Nobita and Doraemon. So, even Doraemon probably can't do this, right? Hearing his contemptuous tone, Doraemon didn't realize at all that this was a way of provoking the opponent. He was still angry at this time and said, do you think I can't do it? I will pick the stars down for you to see. Doraemon called Nobita, let's go, Nobita, let's go pick the stars now, and we will convince Fat Tiger and the others in a little while. But after hearing this, Nobita hesitated. Doraemon, this is impossible, right? How are you going to bring the stars back? Don't worry, leave it to me. As he was talking, Doraemon had already picked a few bamboo leaves from the wishing tree and folded them into a boat. Then used magnifying light to enlarge the bamboo leaf boat. In the horrified eyes of Fat Tiger and others, and the civilizations of the heavens, Doraemon and Nobita wore flying props, bamboo dragonflies, on their heads and flew into the air together holding on to the bamboo leaf boat. Soon it disappeared into the night. This scene shocked Ziofu. But he said, this is terrible. It won't be long before Nobita and Doraemon die of lack of oxygen in the space environment. After all, there is no oxygen in the space. They may not be able to come back. What nonsense are you talking about? This is impossible. Nobita will not die so easily. I believe he will come back with the stars. Shizuka said this, with a firm look on her long, delicate, and lovely face. But Fat Tiger and Sunio just walked away. They also guessed that Nobita might be lying. Even if they could catch the star, they would not be able to transport it back with just a bamboo boat. But they didn't know. What he said was heard clearly by the bug that Nobita had attached to Sunio's back. He was flying into the clouds with Doraemon at this moment. He said it a little nervously. All the stars above the clouds are reflected in the water. Even the gods had the same doubts as Nobita at this moment. Soon, the square meter pool turned into a sea of A-euro stars. Doraemon said, handing a can of spray to Nobita. When you see the brilliant stars reflected in the pool, star clusters, nebulae, and asteroid belts are all within sight. It can be said to be all-encompassing. Yes. The civilizations in the heavens are too numerous to take in. When you see amazing props appear one after another. Next, we will scatter the star bait in the water, and then we can sit on the bamboo boat and use the fourth dimension fishing rod to fish for stars in the pond. All the stars we catch can also be placed in this four-dimensional fish basket. Rick said excitedly at this moment. Nobita's eyes widened. Wow, this is so beautiful, we don't even need to go to space to see it like this. Driven by curiosity, Nobita submerged his head into the water. The blue fat man's traditional art is back. What magical props will he bring out this time? It's really exciting. Doraemon said this and started searching again in his four-dimensional pocket. As he was talking, Nobita had already started to act. Because this pool is equivalent to a mirror space, directly connected to the starry sky in outer space. All the stars in this pool will be reduced to the size of a ping-pong ball, and the largest one will be no bigger than a yoga ball. Especially the one that could create a different dimensional pool connected to the starry sky, which completely shocked all the civilizations in the heavens. Then there is this, the star fishing pond. The underwater scene also made him open his eyes wide. That's nothing. Put your head in the water and see what happens. I saw that countless planets that were much larger than the Earth and the Milky Way in the entire universe were reflected in the water, forming a microscopic underwater world composed of a sea of A-euro stars. What exactly is this mirror? Why can it swallow up the entire 5.1 stars in the sky? As the spray is sprayed between the clouds. Only Doraemon, like Morgana and other Galactic Empire fans, had a calm expression. This spray can greatly increase the density of clouds, even making them stronger than stone, but at the same time it will not make the clouds lose their buoyancy, so they can still float in the sky. First up is the cloud setting spray. You and I will spray the cloud together. No, fishing for stars is more accurate. Doraemon actually took off the bamboo dragonfly and sat directly on the clouds. Wow, these clouds are so fluffy. Doraemon, are you serious? Can we really pick the stars? Star fishing prop set. Doraemon said as he opened a can of something that looked like paint and poured out the dark blue translucent liquid inside. From the cloud solidified spray to the star-shaped bait, it was all incomprehensible and dazzling to them. Chapter 143. How is this pool connected to outer space? And can it allow the vacuum environment to be replaced by a water environment? FK Morty, I really want it. If I can't do it, I'll make one myself. Rick, who is almost crazy grandpa, calm down. That's a technological field that we can't even touch. No matter how excited you are, you have to calm down. It will probably take a long time to develop it. Morty, who forcibly grabbed Rixel anyway, why are those gods quiet now? Aren't you gods from the prehistoric world always proud of your ability to reach the moon in the sky? Doraemon's technology is enough to prove that for technological civilization, it's just like being able to go into the sea and touch turtles. It's not worth mentioning at all. Morgana's words caused dissatisfaction among the creation gods and even the constellation gods. They haven't fished out anything yet, so what's the point of showing off with props? That's right. It's probably just a toy that simulates catching stars. Do you think catching stars is that easy? Doraemon, I caught it. As the gods were refuting, the fishing rod in Nobita's hand began to bend, as if it was grabbed by something underwater and pulled in one direction. This SCNE-23 made many gods hold their breath. And when he and Doraemon pulled the fishing rod together, lift the fishing rod out of the water. A palm-sized light blue star was lifted out of the water, emitting a faint light, like that of a fluorescent toy. And as this star was placed in the four-dimensional fish basket, look through the fish and wait on the transparent glass. Nobita also saw that the surface of the planet was full of potholes, but because it reflected sunlight, it looked very beautiful. This is so beautiful. Shizuka will definitely be very happy. But hearing this, Doraemon said, it's just a 5th magnitude star, why are you so excited? 5th magnitude star? What is that? Seeing the confused expression on Nobita's face, Doraemon patiently explained, the brightness of stars is ranked from 1 to 5. The smaller the number, the brighter it is. This 5th magnitude star is relatively dim. If we encounter a 2nd magnitude star or above, we will have to wear sunglasses. Even as he was speaking, the fishing rod in Doraemon's hand began to shake violently again. This time, even the water surface was illuminated in golden light. Nobita, hurry up and hold me, this one is much bigger than the previous one. It's at least a 3rd magnitude star. Hearing this, Nobita hurried to help Gulameng pull the fishing rod. But the next second, when I saw the yellow planet that was bigger than Doraemon's head, an intense burning sensation also came over me. Nobita suddenly felt his heart tighten. What is this? It's as hot as the sun. Oh no, this is Alphard 2 from the Scorpio constellation. It's too big for my fish to fit in. Let's get rid of it. But by the time Doraemon spoke, it was too late. The star actually overturned the entire bamboo boat like a living fish. However, when they surfaced, Nobita and Doraemon were not distressed, but smiled at each other. Turn the bamboo leaf boat over again and continue catching stars. Even the capsizing of the boat just now did not cause the two of them any nervousness at all. They were as nonchalant as if they were playing in a creek in the park. The civilizations in the heavens, who originally did not believe that they could catch stars, were very excited after seeing them catch speeding comets and rocks from the asteroid belt. Their faces became solemn and their jaws were unable to close. Are these two people trying to catch stars? They are planets in the universe. Such super divine technology is so terrifying. I am not dreaming, am I? They actually treat the universe as their own fishing pond and playground? This? I can't understand it and I am shocked. Tell me, is it possible that everyone in Doraemon's civilization treats this as a daily entertainment, and we are just ignorant and make a fuss about it? It's a pity that we don't have the opportunity to experience the joy of grabbing stars ourselves. However, the cognition and worldviews of the civilizations in the heavens are being refreshed. Nobita said something shocking again. Doraemon, isn't it too slow to fish one by one like this? By the time we finish fishing, the night will be over. 2. Doraemon said, and took out a new item from his four-dimensional pocket, clang. Four-dimensional planet fishing net. This time, seeing this inconspicuous thing similar to a fishing net, the civilizations in the heavens no longer dared to underestimate it. They also believed that this might be some kind of super-god-level technological device. It was when the civilizations in the heavens became curious. Nobita suddenly felt as if something under the entire sea of A stars was trying to suck him in. Doraemon, what's wrong? It's a black hole. It's underwater, and it's going to suck all the stars out of the pool. Ah? Then all our efforts would be in vain. You better think of a solution. Just watch me. Doraemon said this without changing his expression at all. Open the four-dimensional fish basket. With a powerful suction force coming, the black hole was instantly sucked in and entered the four-dimensional viewing bottle. From the outside, the black hole looks just like any other captured planet. Doraemon acted as if nothing had happened, and together with Nobita, he used the fishing net to scoop up a lot of planets from the water. In the minds of many civilizations, there are 10,000 alpacas galloping through the air. That's a black hole. Just by sucking it in, it was solved by Doraemon. What shocked the civilizations of the heavens even more was facing 703 stars that weighed several thousand tons and were even as big as the sun. Doraemon and his companions were able to easily carry the fishing net back home. When they placed these stars in a huge four-dimensional planet viewing bottle that was more than one person tall, Shizuka and the others' eyes widened. The young man opened his mouth wide and spoke after a long time. Nobita, do you dare to say that you are not joking? Are the stars in here really real? Without waiting for Nobita to speak, Shizuka said confidently. I can guarantee that this is absolutely true. Look at the Milky Way in the sky. Look in the direction Shizuka pointed. A gap visible to the naked eye appeared in the vast Milky Way. This astronomical wonder will probably be reported in the newspapers tomorrow. No one would ever have thought that this was something a Doraemon and a junior high school student could do. And outside the screen, most of the major civilizations in the universe were shocked for a long time by the scene. What exactly is this four-dimensional fishing net, and why is it so powerful? Unbelievable, I thought I was dreaming. This abnormal technological civilization, when it comes to Rick and Doraemon, can really be called the most abnormal of the abnormal. Is this already at the level of controlling gods? But what if they can pick stars? They still can't prove that they can create the world. Chapter 144. When Morgana saw this comment, she couldn't help but curse. How come you are as stinky and hard as stones in a stinky ditch? Is it difficult to admit that others are stronger than you? I think you are just like a cooked duck, but you are still stubborn. However, when Liang Bing and others saw that those creator gods were not convinced, they did not find it strange. Because they knew that these gods were furious because they were slapped in the face. They could not deny that many gods had rebelled and were even cheering for the technological civilization. The eternal god of technological civilization. Athena, the goddess of wisdom. It seems that becoming a god is nothing. Joining the glorious evolution is the right way. Dragon god Thor, from today on, I will no longer be a god. I will change my career and become a researcher of super god technological civilization. Bill Cipher, the all-seeing eye. However, even though I have witnessed the power of Doraemon civilization. However, there are also many civilizations that firmly believe that no matter how powerful Doraemon is, he cannot create the world. You guys are a disgrace to the gods. Where is the dignity of the gods? The tree of creation, we can at least create the world. Compared to that, what is super god technology? Are you willing to give up your godhood so easily? Zeus, the king of all gods. Obviously, this belief has also become the final persistence of the gods. At this moment, the scene on the screen switched. It was a hot summer day, with the scorching sun overhead. Looking at it for just a second longer would give one heat stroke. The children who were originally playing in the square were also listless due to the heat and had no heart to play. At this time, Nobita stuck out his tongue and fanned himself wildly. This weather is too hot. Doraemon, do you have any props that can change the season? At this time, Xiaofu ran over proudly and said to the two of them. Do you know that I have a way to get free air conditioning and delicious cantaloupe? And it doesn't cost a penny. Hearing this, Yingxian's eyes widened immediately. Xiaofu, what method are you talking about? Tell me quickly. I want to know. Xiaofu smiled proudly after hearing this. Hey, come with me. Fat Tiger, who was standing by, started drooling at the thought of having free cantaloupe, but at the same time, he was also a little skeptical. Xiaofu, are you sure you are not lying? If you lie to me, I will not forgive you. Seeing his ferocious face, he rolled up his sleeves and said it with confidence. Don't worry, I will never lie, and I can guarantee that every word I say is true. If I lie, you can just beat me up. Seeing that he was ready to die, Fat Tiger and others followed him to the door of a house. As he knocked on the door, a fat middle-aged man with a Mediterranean look came out. Hey, it's Xiaofu, did you see the UFO again? Yes, uncle, I just happened to bring you the latest information. Xiaofu's words made the uncle's eyes light up. That's great. Please come in. I've prepared some delicious cantaloupe. Then, Sunio stuck out his tongue and followed the uncle into the room, leaving only Nobita and Doraemon outside. When I saw Sunio chatting with that uncle, I couldn't eat Hami melon. Fat Tiger and the others were very envious. When Xiaofu came out, the uncle greeted him respectfully with a smile. Xiaofu, next time if you find any clues related to UFOs or aliens, please tell me as soon as possible. No problem, don't worry. Look at his smug face. Then your behavior is no different from lying. It's not nice to cheat for food and drink like this. Nobita was a little hesitant. That was in the past. Besides, so-called scientific knowledge is meant to be constantly updated and broken. Just wait and see. He took out a rocket from his pocket and launched the petri dish. Within 10 days, the moss will evolve into humanoid creatures, create their own flying saucers, and build their own civilization. We will continue to observe it and show the photos we took to the uncle. He will definitely believe that we have really discovered aliens. As Sunio said this, he waved to the uncle and returned to Doraemon and the others. The two of them left happily. Of course. Just watch me. Completing a billion years of evolution in 10 days, isn't that equivalent to going through the entire evolution of species on Earth? Doraemon's understatement, but these words, once again, made all the civilizations in the heavens hold their breath. Fat Tiger also nodded. These words confused Nobita for a while, and he also felt it was a little unbelievable. Yes, that's it. It sounds complicated, but it's actually very simple to do. Nobita was still a little hesitant. Doraemon, isn't this too immoral? So did you really find aliens? Nobita, come on, you actually believed what I said, of course it's fake. Doraemon, are you telling the truth? Doraemon, I suddenly thought, can there really be life on Mars? The teacher said that so far in the Milky Way, only Earth has life. This seems like a good idea, let's just go, let's go. Fat Tiger, how about we go take some pictures of the UFO and send them to that uncle, then we can take the opportunity to blackmail him. Seeing a playful expression on Sunio's face, Nobita hesitated. And took out a device similar to a hairdryer from the yard. As they were talking, Doraemon had already brought Nobita back home. Watch the evolution of moss on a large screen. Of course, but with his inspiration, I do have a way to eat cantaloupe without lying. We can create 10 batches of aliens ourselves. You see, every time I tell this uncle some information about aliens, he will treat me to cantaloupe and air conditioning. It's so comfortable. This is the evolutionary degeneration ray gun. I have accelerated the evolutionary speed to the maximum. In this way, even the lowest level of moss will quickly go through a billion years of evolution and then launch the moss to Mars. As Xiaofu was talking, he also asked Fat Tiger. Look at the excitement on its face. Not only can it create living things, but it can also develop them into advanced civilizations in just 10 days. Isn't this creating the world? Doraemon also took out a few petri dishes at this time and transferred the moss and soil to the bottom of them. What does it matter? He was willing to believe me anyway. If anyone is to blame, it's only because he is too trusting. Chapter 145. Doraemon's words shocked all the civilizations in the heavens. Generally, scientists study scientific phenomena, explain them, and explore their principles. However, Doraemon uses his own knowledge to constantly refresh everyone's cognition and create science and truth. As the footage speeds up, 10 days pass quickly. But when Nobita once again came to the screen happily, he was somewhat helpless and frustrated. Doraemon, you are lying, right? There are still no buildings on Mars. Maybe the moss died in the harsh environment of Mars. No, look carefully again. As the picture zoomed in, it arrived at a cave. When you see the high-tech and modern tunnels in this cave, as well as the high-tech cities lined up one after another. Nobita was completely shocked. No way, it's only been 10 days, and the technology these Martians possess is already more advanced than that of humans. Yes, their civilization is highly developed, and they even have their own cities. On Mars, they will make full use of solar energy. The only drawback is that they are too small. The average height of an adult Martian is only as high as a $1 coin. Doraemon's words surprised Nobita. No wonder we couldn't see them clearly from the surface of Mars before. This is simply a small sparrow with all the necessary organs. Then let's go and take some photos on Mars now. Don't worry, save a few pictures through this large screenshot. We will decide whether to go to Mars or not. Doraemon said this, printed out a few photos, and happily rushed to the residence of the alien expert. Only the civilizations in front of the screen were left in chaos. So, Nobita and Doraemon allowed the moss to cross species and evolve for a billion years, and even developed their own advanced civilization, all for the sake of eating a cantaloupe. This is really like me, I like it. Rick, it's really against the will of heaven. We, the Zero Resetters, went to great lengths to make the universe explode back to zero, and it still takes hundreds of years for civilization to become stronger. But Doraemon only needs to shine a hairdryer on it, and it will take a billion years in a flash. How can this be compared, monarch of the Zero Resetters? However, at this time, some people also raised doubts. However, can the Martians really develop so quickly and steadily? You know, if they develop too quickly, there may be some bottlenecks and problems in their development. At this moment, the uncle's angry rebuke was heard on the screen. Stop lying, I know that kid is in league with you. I thought they really found aliens, but they used toys to trick me. Seeing him angry, Sunio and Fat Tiger were beaten black and blue and looked regretful. Doraemon then took out several spacesuits and a spaceship from his pocket. Uncle, how about you go to outer space with us? I promise I'm not lying. These words made the uncle hold his breath and concentrate. You mean, your toy spaceship and spacesuit can take me to outer space? Is this your new trick? But Doraemon was in the backyard at this time using magnifying rays to enlarge the spaceship. And got on the spaceship with Nobita and others. Hello, our god of creation, you are truly the creator of life. It is your feat that allows us to create our own country on the surface of Mars and develop our own technology and civilization over billions of years. This is such a waste of resources. And this is all thanks to you. Thank you, God Dakshang and God Doraemon. He also shared the cantaloupe with Shizuka, Fat Tiger, and others. He entered the Martian underground city-state from the cave that he and Nobita had observed before. On the way back, the uncle was very excited and was very grateful to Doraemon. This is the first time I've seen a spacecraft like this. His jaw dropped. How is this possible? The science books say that no life has been found on Mars. Seeing that he was being stubborn, Doraemon used the shrink ray to make everyone smaller. After a hearty meal, everyone boarded the spaceship and left contentedly. Kid, I don't know how you brought me to this holographic projection studio, but I didn't see any aliens. What's even more amazing is that after putting on the translator that Doraemon brought out, the uncle could actually understand Martian. Sunio and Fat Tiger were completely shocked. This is incredible. Look, the people on the spaceship seem to be our creators Doraemon and Nobita. But even though he had arrived in outer space, he looked around and saw only desolation and devastation, which made the uncle somewhat suspicious. Amid the cheers of the Martians, Doraemon and Nobita were warmly welcomed. Many gods don't understand. We have basically mastered various high-tech technologies such as two-dimensional foil and dimensionality reduction attack, and are committed to the research and development of parallel universe topics. At this time, Doraemon also explained to the uncle the process of creating aliens. Nobita created an entire civilization and even made it develop rapidly, but he didn't rule the world and enjoy the special treatment as a god. This left the uncle dumbfounded. He couldn't believe that these mushroom-like aliens in front of him were actually created by Doraemon himself. Under the watchful eyes of the heavens and myriad worlds, Doraemon and his companions quickly arrived at the surface of Mars. It's okay, kid. At least you've shown me with your actions that aliens really exist. This has made up for my regrets. I will never forget this journey. What Nobita didn't expect was that he actually gave himself a whole box of cantaloupe. Are you kidding me? The god of creation has come to our underground city in person. CDDI, countless Martians are rushing here. Nobita was extremely proud when he received a large box of Hami melons. Uncle, are you sure this is okay? You know these aliens are too small to be seen clearly without using shrinking rays. And you might be thought to have gone insane from studying aliens and fabricated the photos yourself. Just as the few people got off the spaceship, the leader of the Martians took the initiative to bow to Nobita and others. At this time, his fingers hurt from pressing the shutter button of the camera. When the spaceship stopped in the center of the city square. Seeing that Doraemon was serious, the uncle was a little hesitant but still got on the spaceship with him. Uncle, you have been doing alien research for so long, this must be your first time seeing an alien with your own eyes, right? Do you want to miss such an opportunity? But when I saw them just leaving the Martians alone. Amid the exclamations of the Martians. Chapter 146. In the eyes of many civilizations in the universe. Nobita's behavior is incredible, and it can even be said that it is beyond their ability to understand. As the founder of Martian civilization, Nobita can allow it to continue to develop and make it brilliant and glorious. But he only took 10 days to create a civilization. He was not interested in power. He did all this just to eat Hami melon. This made the great saint narrow his eyes and fall into deep thought. Is this the realm of super god level technology? However, it was much lower than the reaction of the gods in the wild. Morgana and other loyal fans of the Galactic Empire understand the real reason why Doraemon civilization does this. The realm of you gods is just like this. Even if you reach the golden immortal realm and become a god or a saint, you still have shackles that you cannot break through. You can only look down on others and claim them as your own. You can destroy them at will and make clouds and rain with a flip of your hand. After hearing Morgana's words, many prehistoric civilizations felt dissatisfied. But at this time, new comments also appeared on the screen. A powerful civilization will dominate a rapidly developing civilization with huge development potential in order to strengthen itself. This potential can be judged at the beginning of civilization or after several hundred years of development. Generally speaking, technological civilizations, even the last 6 on the list, have a certain upper limit to their development. Even the Ruakung civilization has to keep searching by exploring multiple parallel time and space. As for Doraemon civilization, since it can easily create Martian civilization, it can also easily destroy it, so it is impossible for it to rule such a weak civilization that has developed to its current state with its own help. See these notes. Many gods were shocked, because in their opinion, even the Martian civilization supported by Doraemon was a realm that many weaker gods had spent thousands or tens of thousands of years to reach. However, as they calmed down, many gods from the prehistoric world realized. I was just shocked by Doraemon's powerful super technology, so much so that I was exposed. If you think about it calmly, Doraemon civilization can create space and the universe and break through the limitations of time and space. You can even easily turn the starry sky into a toy and object of appreciation for children. Wouldn't it be easy to create a civilization of this level? It is natural to be dismissive of it. When seeing these comments, even Rick said, it seems that Doraemon's behavior makes sense. At first glance, this Martian civilization is developing rapidly, but this is still in Doraemon's accelerated the development of civilization. But what if they use up all the knowledge Doraemon gave them? After the Martians' brain capacity and technology have reached their peak, will they start to decline because they lose support and momentum? Since there is a 99.999% chance that this civilization will never be able to break free of its shackles, what's the point of Doraemon ruling this civilization? For a moment, many gods didn't know how to refute Rick's words. But at the same time, some gods also thought of a more terrifying possibility. This may mean that the civilization that Doraemon governs and rules has great development potential and may even be on the list, or even an outer god. As soon as this barge came out, the barge suddenly quieted down, and many civilizations suddenly felt suffocated. It's not impossible. Perhaps only gods with extremely long lifespans and creativity can be favored by this level of god-controlling civilization and become a helper in their technological development. However, just as many civilizations were discussing heatedly. But a barrage of comments attracted their attention. Hades had to go to another world. If he wasn't here and his power was weakened, how could he be defeated so easily? Poseidon, the god of the sea, also said excitedly at this time, Zeus, we must avenge Hades. Gather the power of our 11 gods, and if we have the chance, we must destroy that foreign god and the mysterious empire behind it. Even though he had witnessed countless storms and disputes in the divine world, his face now looked serious and distressed. In their view, Doraemon civilization is already powerful enough. Who are you? What's the basis for your statement? Are you from that mysterious empire? Tony Stark, however, there were also some civilizations on the prehistoric side that couldn't help but refute. On the other side, in a certain universe, above the unreachable clouds, in the palace of Mount Olympus. Don't be ridiculous. How can we gods be ruled by an existence like Doraemon civilization? However, at this moment, outside the sacred mountain, there was a storm with lightning and thunder. Please give me flowers. Morgana knew that the outer gods were ancient gods that had existed since the birth of the universe. They were more powerful than Pangu and Nuwa, who created the world. They are extremely majestic, and each of them radiates divine light of different colors. The 11 main gods were sitting around the stone table in the temple. He is holding his chin with one hand and looking at multiple virtual screens at the same time. As soon as this comment came out, Morgana was so angry that she laughed. The only one absent was Hades, the lord of the underworld, who had rashly gone to Soul Society. But even such a civilization is unable to control the outer gods. If what he said is true, does that mean that the civilization that can control the outer gods is number 1 on the list? As soon as this question was raised, many civilizations that were not on the list felt a strong fear of the unknown, and their curiosity was also aroused. Recalling the horrifying scene they had just seen Hades see before his death. The realm they are in is far beyond the creation of the heavens and the earth or human beings, which are so small that they cannot be any smaller. Could this barge be sent by those outer gods? If so, why is there no signature? This is probably a prank by some civilization, right? Lord of Zero, then how powerful is the manipulator behind the outer god who destroyed the Death God civilization? It turns out that you gods are not only ignorant and superficial, but also quite narcissistic. He didn't even need to do anything, the gods on the screen carried different technologies to different dimensions. Perhaps the only civilization that can control gods is gods? Perhaps that civilization is not a powerful civilization on the technological side, but an ancient god that is superior to all the civilizations on the list. But those gods are indescribable. Only the one in the Galactic Empire can rule. An ominous premonition swept over all the 11 main gods of the Olympus civilization present. When seeing this comment, Ying Xiao and Ming was also shocked. The emperor at this moment was extremely majestic, with everything in his eyes. The main god Zeus, the mother goddess Hera, the sea god Poseidon, the god of war Ares, the sun god Apollode and others all gathered here. The supreme god Zeus could not help but frown at the scene that seemed like a part of the universe was swallowed up in an instant. Liulai also whispered at this time, a new round of small-scale super-god technology testing has begun. At the same time, looking at those indescribable existences whose outlines cannot even be seen clearly, as if they themselves are part of the stars in the universe. Chapter 147. At this moment, Hermes, the messenger god, rushed in on the clouds. Oh no, God King Zeus. The seawater is flooding the entire Olympus civilization. This news shocked Zeus. What's going on? Poseidon, aren't all the world's oceans under your control? At the same time, Zeus suddenly felt an indescribable terrifying mysterious force coming from under Mount Olympus. When he led the gods to the highest observation tower on Mount Olympus. The gods then discovered that the entire world, except for the top of Mount Olympus, was now covered by surging sea water. Looking around, everything in sight has been swallowed up by the sea. The original land now turned into an endless expanse of blue, as if it had been forcibly pieced together into a whole by some divine power in the sky. For a time, the original 10 ruled the world and was even above all the gods, above all living beings. I actually had the feeling that I was so insignificant, just a drop in the ocean of this world. The originally sacred and unattainable Mount Olympus now seemed like an insignificant island in the universe. The scene before them was incomprehensible even to Poseidon, the god of the sea who controlled all the seas. My Lord God King, I did not order its tsunami. Only Zeus knew that this powerful sense of oppression came from the indescribable unknown invaders in the sea. Even without looking, he could already feel that the other party was a being with divine power comparable to his own. He also spoke at this time, Poseidon, if you look carefully at the water, you may understand why it is no longer under your control. Sea water. These words made Poseidon and all the heavenly civilizations look towards the sea at the same time. When they looked carefully, the civilizations in the heavens suddenly realized. This sea water seems to have been replaced by some other liquid. It is somewhat similar to the four-dimensional liquid that Doraemon used just now. Cryogenic artist, could it be that, without making any noise, some powerful technology has replaced all the seawater in the Olympus civilization? How did they do that? Zero Lord, for a moment, all civilizations in the heavens became nervous. This phenomenon is difficult to explain scientifically. Even Rick could only make a bold guess, perhaps a powerful technological civilization used a dimensional portal or a space-time tunnel to instantly replace the seawater in this world. In short, its strength must be far superior to the Doraemon civilization. It is also very adept at using space transmission and shuttle technology. It was because of this thought that Zeus's expression suddenly became serious. All gods, take out your weapons and be on guard. We may have been attacked by a powerful technological civilization. This is related to the life and death of our civilization. You must defend the dignity of us gods and protect our world. How can we allow some unknown foreign god to defile our majesty? As the words fell, Zeus' muscles bulged under his golden robe and powerful lightning radiated from the thunder scepter in his hand. But you can see Zeus is so alert. Apollo, the sun god, was not aware of the seriousness of the problem. Father, are you making a big fuss? I admit that the demon may be very strong in other soul society, but in the world where divine power is abundant and everything is created by us, that monster is definitely no match for us. But at this time, Zeus said seriously, no matter how powerful the opponent is, we must avenge Hades. Poseidon also said, that's right, this unknown god who came from nowhere actually dared to cross the sea water that I control in this world. It simply doesn't take me, the sea god, seriously. Does it think that as long as it lets the sea water swallow the world, we gods will be afraid? We are the most noble and ancient bloodline of gods in this world. Even if there is any danger in the water, we will not be afraid at all. As he took out the trident, his momentum was overwhelming. Countless giant sea beasts in the temple of Poseidon also emerged from the water, and were very respectful to Poseidon, Zeus, and others, and obeyed their orders. Apollo, the god of the sun, summoned his sun chariot, which flew into the sky. It was shining brightly and burning with flames that were hotter than the sun. The god of war Ares summoned his giant beasts that were hundreds of feet tall. Holding swords and shields, they sat on unicorns and prepared to fight from the air. At this time, the mysterious existence that had never appeared underwater once again emitted a more gloomy and deep mysterious power, causing the entire sea water to suddenly rise by hundreds of meters. The sea water that was previously halfway up Mount Olympus had now submerged the top of Mount Olympus. I felt the inexplicably thick and sticky sensation coming from the water. Zeus ordered all the gods except himself and Poseidon, once you find anything unusual underwater, the other 9 gods must attack with all their might, absolutely not slack off at all. Poseidon and I will go underwater first to investigate. He knew that he had seen the horror of the world's corrupt technology and the god's self-destructive technology. Therefore, even if I am the supreme god, I must never let my guard down and must fight with all my strength. In just a few breaths of the civilization of the heavens, the entire Mount Olympus was submerged in the deep sea. After entering the water, Zeus's guess was confirmed, and he couldn't help but feel a little surprised. This doesn't seem to be water, more like a light and turbid gas? No wonder Poseidon went to control the sea first. His words also aroused strong curiosity among the civilizations of the heavens. If this isn't water, then what is it and why does it feel like water? But there is a strong sense of infinite oppression. Is this also a kind of technology? With endless doubts, Zeus and other gods also saw the underwater scene clearly. They were also a little shocked. Because what appeared before his eyes was actually a temple several thousand meters high that was similar to a royal city. The scale of that temple was even several times higher than Mount Olympus. At this time, Zeus and his companions could only see a part of the top of the temple. The mermaid statues on both sides of the temple all have solemn expressions, and each one is as tall as Mount Olympus. On the huge stone door in front of the temple, there are countless patterns of monsters with fish heads and human bodies. They also bowed reverently towards something between the 2 doors. Although he didn't know what was inside the temple gate, Zeus could feel a strong sense of oppression. This feeling also comes from the indescribable divine power in the temple. He also said to Poseidon at this time, what is certain is that the temple may be the source of this inexplicable divine power. It is also the source of this strange liquid. However, at the same time, a strange and solemn singing voice came from behind the gate. Chapter 148. This mysterious singing voice seemed to come from tens of millions of light years away. It is a song that has existed since the beginning of the universe. At that moment, not only Zeus, but even the civilizations in the heavens in front of the screen heard the mysterious song. However, if you listen carefully, you will find that the melody that sounds like a song is more like the instructions issued by some technological device when it is being controlled. Because they are separated by tens of millions of light years, or even several dimensions, there is a sense of remoteness and vagueness. This song also gave the singers a sense of longing. This kind of singing seems to have been born from the beginning of the universe. It is an obscure melody that our civilization cannot decipher. And it seems to carry some kind of high-tech instructions. This is more than just an epic piece of music, it is simply a profound poem in the universe. However, in its grandeur and beauty, it carries a sense of cold and white civilization that makes people unwilling to analyze and comprehend. Although the civilizations of the heavens spoke seriously, some gods felt that they were exaggerating. Because not all civilizations can hear this Ragnarok, this is just a song that even the gods can't understand and makes me feel uncomfortable. Demon Slayer, king of demons and gods muse, and that's right. In my opinion, this is just a melody that people can't understand. In short, it's just a trick, and it's not even as beautiful as the music played by Brother Jingqian. Xianjian world, Demon Lord Changlo, this discordant music is so harsh. It even disturbed my sweet dreams. Saint Cea civilization, sleep and dreams, such mysterious music can be heard from the paradise. How can you trample on the pure land of Sumi? In a certain Sumi civilization, Brahma sat down. Indra, when you see the complaints of the gods in the heavens and all realms. Morgana couldn't help but shake her head. Gods are superficial, but, to be precise, you are the next victims. Being able to hear this mysterious song means that your time is up. If I were you, I would dig my own grave as soon as possible. What do you mean? Is this a death threat? If you have the guts, come to our world and my 6 upper ranks will make sure you die without a complete corpse. My god, the 3 Hades warriors, only need to move their fingers to turn all of you so-called gods into smoke. Seeing that Musen and others refused to believe him. Only Morgana knew that she was not exaggerating. At this moment, a line of scrolling comments appeared below the screen. Erickson, Part 2, C Chapter, written by the outer gods Thulhu and Hastur lyrics. The gods will usher in their own twilight, and the imperial technology that governs millions of universes above the Milky Way will play the final movement for them. All civilizations that hear this song will become a sea of A stars. When you see these comments, all the civilizations in the heavens were also shocked. Thulhu is the outer god that Rick encountered just now? Then who is Hastur? Just a piece of music can deal with the main god of a world? How terrifying would a civilization with such technology be? At the same time, in the picture, the huge stone door in front of Zeus actually opened little by little. The dark green light radiating from it became increasingly intense. Zeus and Poseidon also saw that behind this door was an endless universe. It was also at that moment that the 12 gods and even the entire world fell into stagnation, as if they were frozen by something and could not move at all. The powerful divine power that they had released was instantly extinguished at this moment, and their original momentum also disappeared. This scene stunned all the civilizations in front of the screen. What is that green beam? Could it be that they have been killed instantly by the singing? How is it possible? They are the supreme gods in this world. Although many civilizations could not believe that gods would die like this. But think about what happened to those victimized civilizations before. All civilizations are becoming increasingly uneasy. As the camera moves away from Zeus and others, it gradually moves away to the entire Olympus civilization. The civilizations in the heavens saw that the entire planet Olympus had now turned into a blue water ball. The original boundaries between the human world, the earth, and even the divine realm in the sky no longer exist. The light on Mount Olympus is gone. At this moment, all the gods' faces were filled with shock and fear. At this moment, even through the screen, all the civilizations in the heavens felt the true meaning of the name of the music. Is this the legendary Ragnarok? Is the song really that powerful? Optimus Prime, look carefully. There seems to be a layer of unclear green halo surrounding the entire Olympus planet. Could this be the reason why the 10 civilizations have solidified? Rick, isn't this impossible? Just a faint light killed all the gods of a world in an instant? This is simply outrageous. While the civilizations in the heavens were speculating, new notes appeared on the screen. Thulhu, full name Thulhu Arlea, he controls the water element in the multidimensional universe and is also known as the god of sleep and dreams. Using the dimensional gate of the royal city of Arlai, one can reach multiple civilizations in the multidimensional universe and make the people and even gods there become one's servants, or fall into eternal sleep. What he played, 493, was the second movement of Eric's piece, Twilight of the Gods, with the wavelength and energy intensity adjusted. This music will cause life forms below the 5th dimension to go insane after hearing it, and it will cause gods to fall into eternal sleep. The target will die little by little in the dream. When I saw these words, some civilizations have also raised questions. Gods are not living beings, so how can they sleep? Does their slumber mean they are sealed? If not, then isn't this just a trick and nonsense? Queen Xiao, why do I feel that the god Thulhu may not exist at all, and this music is just some special super god technology? Zeus and other gods may just be in a deep sleep, one when I saw that many gods subconsciously denied the powerful power of this sound wave. Morgana couldn't help but sneer. I think you gods are just trying to deny the existence you don't want to acknowledge. If you have a little common sense, you will know that gods can also fall asleep in the true sense, or even die. And didn't you notice that those civilizations that were clamoring and denying the existence of the music have now disappeared? These words attracted the attention of all the heavens and worlds. Some people subconsciously thought of a terrifying possibility. Could it be that they were also frozen at the same time? Chapter 149. At this time, new notes also appeared on the screen. So far, only one person has heard the entire Iridian praise and is still able to understand it without any problems. He even comprehended it and studied the 8 major movements derived from it. Chapter 1, The Piper of the Temple. Chapter 2, Ragnarok. Each of these 8 movements represents one or more different outer gods, and also contains part of their energy and the research and development results of a mysterious empire. Translated into the language of the gods, it is divine power. These 8 movements are the analysis and use of the special language and energy of outer gods, turning them into weapons and the driving force for the development of civilization. Different movements also contain different cosmic energy. This kind of music will manipulate, change, and even distort the structure of life and even energy bodies, and even have a huge impact on the entire civilization and the geological structure and environment of the planet. When seeing this explanation, many civilizations became frightened. At the same time, they also admired the mysterious existence who could remain safe and sound after hearing Eric's song. They believed that the other party's strength and even technological attainments might be above Doraemon's civilization, and he might even be number 1 on the list. But at the same time, they were also worried that they might become the next victim because they had also heard the mysterious singing. And as the screen switches from the original perspective of the universe where Olympus is located, it switches to broadcasting perspectives from multiple different universes at the same time. All the civilizations in the heavens saw it. In front of Musen and the 6 upper moons in the Demon Slayer world, the 3 giants of the Saint Seiya underworld and even the 2 gods of sleep, as well as the demon lord Changlo in the immortal sword world, there appeared a huge stone gate that was the same as the one that appeared in front of Zeus and others. At this moment, they were all on the verge of a fight, as if they were about to launch an attack on the royal city in the next second. But at this moment, they were completely unable to move, as if they were a frozen picture. Their world, without exception, was also being shrouded in a faint green light and being poured bit by bit with a deep blue liquid similar to seawater. And as the pictures grow from 2 to 4, 8 to 16, it increases exponentially. In a short period of time, the screen has been divided into countless small pieces that are invisible to the naked eye, as numerous as the grains of sand in the Ganges. As long as you enlarge each of the small pictures, you will find it. Each picture represents a civilization affected by the music, and the gods in it are all affected by the divine power. This astonishing discovery completely shocked all the civilizations in the heavens. Even the comments on the website changed from scrolling wildly to a blank. Is this the power of the Ericsson? It can actually make gods fall into a deep sleep. This is truly a terrifying super god technology. However, from another perspective, what kind of terrifying existence is this civilization that can withstand and even control the music of the outer gods? There are already too many civilizations being invaded at the same time on this screen. What exactly do the invading civilizations want to do? Are these gods just going to wait for death? Many gods could not help but refute the unreasonable words of the civilization of the heavens. Now they are just not moving. We cannot conclude that these gods are dead. Stop trying to be mysterious here. The gods are more powerful than this. That's right. They just stopped moving temporarily. Maybe they will soon break free from the shackles of the devil's voice and resist the civilization that wants to destroy their world. I don't believe that these gods are so weak that they can be controlled by the devil's voice. The surface of the hourglass is like a mirror reflecting the night sky. They disappeared? Just disappeared from the world. The figure of the god in the hourglass began to change from clear to blurred, and even a part of it completely disappeared along with the hourglass. At this time, King Zhao, Morgana couldn't help but sneer. I've said it before, it's not a coincidence that those primitive civilizations can hear the singing, which means they are about to be invaded by the Galactic Empire. Otherwise, why is this piece of music called Ragnarok? At the same time, all the civilizations in the heavens saw it. Around him, there were countless unknown monsters with scales all over their bodies and the appearance of fish. Only then did they realize that this hourglass was actually small but had all the necessary facilities. Almost all the different celestial phenomena that the celestial civilizations have been able to study so far are also taking place simultaneously and silently in different areas of this quiet temple. The scene changed again. Countless stars, galaxies crisscrossing, and meteors streaking across the sky. According to the latest research report provided by a mysterious empire, the essence of gods is a collection of energy in the ceiling above their heads. Wait a minute, did you see that there seems to be something in that hourglass? On both sides of the hourglass, there are patterns composed of skulls and octopus tentacles. When I heard this exclamation. Because, in this delicate and tiny hourglass, the person with his eyes closed and a look of pain on his face is none other than Zeus, the god of Olympus. Am I seeing right? These gods are all locked up in this hourglass? Is this their true consciousness now? Zero Lord, it was also when the gods tried to refute, firmly believing that these gods controlled by Ragnarok would wake up and counterattack. Where did those gods go? As it blew hard on the small ball, a new note appeared on the screen. The god's hourglass technology is a kind of god-controlling technology that extracts energy from the body and converts it into energy for technological development. Once the energy source in the gods' bodies is cut off, the gods' bodies fall into a deep sleep, and the energy in their bodies will slowly be consumed. Even the explosion of the universe, black holes swallowing nebulae, the explosion and decay of the sun, and even the collapse of dimensions. And in the countless hourglasses floating in the starry sky around them, those with painful expressions were other gods from different universes. The blue dust in the small ball was blown into the air in front of it, floating without dispersing, and then gradually condensed into 12 different hourglasses filled with quicksand. However, when they saw clearly what was in the hourglass, many civilizations that had just vowed that the gods in thousands of different universes could break free from the Ericsson magic sound and would not be affected by it fell completely silent. And in the hourglass, star-like sand is flowing down from above. At this time, the black shadow used a giant hand whose outline could only be seen to take out a coin-sized ball from a floating nebula. In a space that 99.99% of civilizations have never seen. It seemed that countless planets and nebulae were entangled on each tentacle, as if countless pieces of space were swallowed up within it. Many civilizations in the heavens also enlarged the picture and looked at it carefully. When all the civilizations in the heavens were confused. It's incredible. I didn't expect these gods to be completely powerless to fight back. Are the thousands and thousands of gods from the Saint Seiya civilization, the Fairy Sword civilization, and even the lofty Sumi civilization all controlled by this kind of evil sound? Empress Qin Zheng, a huge, invisible black shadow was sitting on a huge throne in the royal city. Chapter 150. When you see these comments, the gods on the prehistoric side who were watching the live broadcast suddenly became uneasy. What does this mean? What do you mean our bodies are made up of energy? This statement has no clue or reason, it is simply nonsense. Queen Qin Zheng, we gods absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, and the light of the sun and moon. We are the embodiment of the essence of heaven and earth. How can we describe it with just two simple words, energy? Wei Tian Long Fei, such a simple and sloppy description is absolutely a blasphemy to our noble gods. Such a technological civilization must not be allowed to survive. Emperor Shishan, just as the gods on the prehistoric side were criticizing this conclusion. Many scientists on the technology side and researchers of supergod technology felt as if they had suddenly opened their eyes. They also began to deduce along the clues given in this annotation and speak freely. This theory is really amazing. Because once upon a time, we all thought that gods were mysterious and could not be explained by scientific common sense. However, whether it is divine power or the absorption of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, those things that are almost invisible and intangible to the naked eye are energy itself. Divine power, and even the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, in essence, may be a kind of energy. Lelachrik even analyzed it calmly at this time. If this comment is true, then this civilization has created a new era in scientific research. For example, the basic unit of human and other life forms is the cell. And much of the material composition in the universe is chemical infrastructure, even the smallest proton. The reason why gods cannot be analyzed is probably because they give people the illusion of being shrouded in mystery. In addition, they have always been considered more powerful than technology, so no scientist has studied the realm of gods from a scientific perspective. Whether that layer of window paper can be broken, the root of it may be whether the basic components of gods can be analyzed with super god technology. Rick's speculation came out. Many technological civilizations also followed suit and expressed their bold guesses. So, the end of science is theology, and analyzing unexplainable scientific phenomena from the perspective of God is a blasphemy against science and God are both false statements. Tony Stark, is this a hoax set up by the gods to keep themselves mysterious and prevent them from being analyzed by scientists? It turns out that gods are such a thing that seems mysterious but is actually simple. Gods, are they really that simple? As the discussion became more heated. Among all the worlds, another major divergence point between technological civilization and prehistoric civilization also emerged. Even the three disciples of Patriarch Hungjun were confused by the nonsense that the technological civilization said about them. Master, these technological civilizations have absolutely no respect for the gods of the wild world. They treat us like stones on the side of the road, or even the grass and trees in the 3,000 worlds. This is really disrespectful. But Hungjun just narrowed his eyes slightly at this time. The tree wants to be still but the wind does not stop. The butterfly is Zhuangzhou, and Zhuangzhou is also a butterfly. We are part of the world, the mountains, rivers, grass, trees, sun, moon, and stars. These words made Yuan Tianzun suddenly wake up. He stopped talking immediately. Indeed, what Master said is right. I cannot be led by these scientists who can only study phenomena and force explanations. But at the same time, some civilizations suddenly realized it. If the conclusion given in this comment is true, this means that the technological civilization that can drive the outer gods has even analyzed the basic components of the gods' bodies and even the principles of the energy operation of these gods. A deep and real understanding. Such a perverted and heaven-defying technological civilization, is it more than just the word controlling gods? However, when I saw these comments, Morgana didn't find it strange. After all, even a technological civilization at Doraemon's level cannot study gods. It is even more impossible to make the outer gods who existed at the beginning of the universe and can even control the universe become the subjects of one's experiments. This made her feel proud. There's nothing to be surprised about, right? So far, among the billions of universes that exist, only the Galactic Empire, which governs billions of universes in parallel time and space, has the technology to analyze the energy composition of gods. But even if it is the analysis god, it is only the most basic technology among the abnormal technologies of the Galactic Empire. Morgana's words made all the civilizations in the heavens feel panic and autistic. In particular, many civilizations that claim to be powerful in technology were trembling in fear at this moment. What is the full picture of this mysterious empire? Even this most basic technology for them is far beyond the reach of civilizations outside the rankings. Not to mention them, even the civilizations in the inventory can only make some vague inferences through annotations. Not to mention being able to clearly explain the gods' measurement units and body composition. However, it was also because of this conclusion that many prehistoric gods understood. This is sheer nonsense. It's all fabricated without any basis. This is all blasphemy against the gods. You will be punished. Fahe, the great dragon of heaven, we gods are far more powerful than technological civilizations. The entire world only exists in my dreams. As long as I wake up, the world will be reset to zero and there is no need to develop any super god technology. Brahma, however, just when the gods were furious. Zeus and many other victims on the website screen have been enveloped in lightning from the divine light they originally had. It became dim and finally even became the stars falling at the bottom of the hourglass along with the sand. The other 12 gods suspended in the air, as well as the demon lord, 108 Hades warriors, and hundreds of other gods from different worlds have all turned into sand. As the ancestor of Fulhu drew a line in the air with his palm in front of him, a dimensional rift appeared. The grey chaos in it is just like the chaotic dimension that appeared when Sun Wukong and other gods and Buddhas were sucked into it. New annotations appeared on the screen. Gods themselves are made of energy, but their mass is millions of times greater than that of the sun, black holes, or even the explosion of the universe. Different gods contain different energies, but the two most basic ones are X-energy particles and K-energy particles. Even if they are used by the mysterious empire, the consumption of energy will produce waste. Currently, the maximum energy utilization rate that the mysterious empire can achieve is 94.53%. However, because the gods themselves have enormous energy, even the energy debris can easily destroy a universe and even lead to the birth of new gods. In order to solve this problem, the mysterious empire came up with a brilliant solution. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you are notified of future uploads. You can find the next parts in the playlist visible on the screen or on my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.